We're recording, because fuck
Awesome.
technology.
So, hello to anyone watching this after our recording session. My name is Danica. We're starting a session 0 tonight of a campaign called Brave with all these lovely people here. You guys can go around and introduce yourselves with your name real fast, one by one. Starting with Victoria.
Hi, I'm Victoria. I'm one of the regular Wednesday. Well, I've been around since Wednesday was Wednesdays. What am I saying? Is that it?
Yeah, that's great.
Whoa.
Whoa. Yeah, okay. Lovely. Thank you. Christy?
Hi guys, I'm Christy Mystic Water. I'm the producer and really stressed out because this isn't working. So you're not watching this live. This is recording if I get this up in time. But yeah, hi. Christy Mystic Water. I'm everywhere. Every Wednesday to Saturday. Heyo.
Mm-hmm. She's fantastic. We thank her very much for her hard work and labors are fantastic. We appreciate her. Next up, Ink.
Hi, I'm Ink. It's also, my human name is Dylan, but I'm the only person that gets to keep his moniker here. I DM on Wednesdays for 4 of these 5 people. And I play on Sunday when it comes back for Curse of Strahd.
Thank you very much. What about you, Chal? Would you mind introducing yourself?
Can't hear you, BB.
You're muted.
It's muted.
I'm here. I'm Chell. I am new to this group. I'm very excited to be here playing with you all. I DM mostly, so playing is something I don't get to do very often. So Danica was very, very gracious in allowing me to join. I normally DM for Dylan.
Yay! we love supporting a DM. That's always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Never the bride.
I understand the feeling. So, and Ink is the one relieving me of that lovely burden. So it's just DMing for me as well, which is lovely. Jody, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Last but not least.
I'm Jody. I've been here like once before.
Yeah.
And I'm Danica's friend.
Yep. If you were wondering, Jody has been guested on. You might have recognized the name Brave. It was a one-shot we had on the channel a couple months ago. Take a gander. It's in the same world that we're going to be playing this campaign in. So, now that we've done all that, I can do some announcements real fast. Big thanks to supporters of this stream, Twitch, OBS Streamlabs, Team MZ, and Mini-Sided Dice. We really appreciate all the support. Proficiency bonus is also turning 2 years old on Saturday, July 13th. We'll be kicking off a birthday celebration with a little bit of a charity stream of Tomb of Horrors, the infamous module you guys may have heard of. It's of deaths from the Tales of the Yawning Portal. Matthew, our lovely Matthew, who you may know as Molfin from Storm King's Thunder and the DM of Tomb of Annihilation, will be DMing starting at noon Eastern time. We would love for anybody to tune in, anyone and everyone, new people, veterans of the channel, and celebrate the channel with some charity.
I'm going to be playing all day that day because I start at like 10 a.m. my time and continue until when Insight Check ends.
And it's going until what? Like that. You guys complete it, or like everyone dies?
We complete it, or we run out of time before Insight Check.
So it's going to be several hours.
Oh, yeah.
That's
come on, jump in.
Really exciting.
It's like an all-day stream for Saturday because we get the birthday horrors for the charity event, and then we cross over to Insight Check. So it's going to be from early morning to late at night.
Come watch some people go crazy with D&D. That's going to be super fun.
That's so cool. I want to do that so badly.
I'm so tired.
Maybe we'll get another one. All right, and then we have proficiency bonus is going to be at Gen Con. Hey, several people from our little family will be in attendance, and some people on the stream. So come say hi if you're there. We also have a new show that just premiered this weekend. Dirty 20 is happening Saturday, once or twice a month at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. DM Michael from Delvin Dash and Storm King's Thunder is hosting a live play game with our very own Christy Mystic Water providing character art, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And as always, we've got games every day of the week and a bunch of different times. So if you get home from work and you want to watch a D&D show, you're probably going to be able to do that. So come and check us out at the schedule below in the Twitch video feed. Follow us on Twitter at Proficiency Bonus. Give Christy's video YouTube channel a follow if you could. That would be so kind. And thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Now that all that's done, we can just kind of... Tonight's going to be different from most of the things we usually DM on Proficiency Bonus because this is a session 0. So this is going to be, once we get out of this mode, this will just be a talking session between players. So if anyone's never done a session 0 or a DM here is trying to figure out how they want to do one, we're going to jump into it. So we can just kind of start vibing. We're going to talk about characters first. If you guys want to, we can go a little bit play by play and kind of. I know you guys have talked a little bit about each other's characters' ideas. We can kind of jump into that if you guys would like. Just kind of give each other an idea.
Yeah, I mean, hey, how do you want to do it, Danica?
I would love it if we started with characters, and then we can kind of go into how you guys feel they're vibing off of each other, and then we can go into how you're feeling like they're vibing off the world, and you guys want more world information, I can give that to you, and then we'll roll up some dice when we're feeling good about who you guys are decided on. So that'll be the first thing of the night.
Do you want to do like the quick refresher of like the base stuff you gave us about the world?
Yeah, for sure. If you
Context.
guys want, we can give some context to the thing. So, I gave everyone a little bit of, for anyone who's new to doing session 0s, it's always great to give a little preface for your characters, like just a sheet. Hopefully never more than a sheet to your players so that they can have some sort of context for the world that you're creating for them, and that you guys can work together to create one. Instead of just having it all one-sided. Make sure that your friends know what they're getting into, all that. So I will go ahead, give you guys a little bit of a preface. I'm sure you guys understand most of it, but why not? So I gave my players a little handout, something I always recommend doing. Matthew Colville has a great video on that if anyone's ever interested. And I'll give you guys a bit of a base. So I gave a little bit of a quote. It's actually from your clan leader, but I didn't give their name as of yet. At the very top of the handout, and it goes: "Here in this world, there are no gods. Here, there are no wishes. Here, there is life and death. Those above and those below. Those that eat and those that are eaten. Sure, it isn't fair, but that's life, and it's too late to throw a fucking fit now." So that kind of gives you a tone of the world. The world below has been overridden by monsters, twilight mists, and nature trying to reclaim land that was destroyed once before in a calamity by the hands of humanity. Now magic is nearly gone from the world, and what is left is a shadow of what it was. And there's this world above. After this calamity, these bits of earth are strewn from the surface and now float above the world. That world is unknowable to those below. They are not able to get up to these skylands, as they're called. Monstrous races belong below. So clans and homesteads fight to survive in what's left of civilization below. The roads are dangerous, communication is sparse, everything is dangerous, distant, and isolated, except for your small communities. And in the world, there's something called daemons, these fleshy monsters that were born from the bowels of this cataclysm that have come out of the cracks in the earth. Tieflings are in this world. Instead of just being more related to fiends, they're a little closer to these daemons that come out of the earth. They face a lot of discriminations, tiefling, in this world. They're not usually very trusted. So we're going to be starting as 5 level 1 residents of a town called Hearthome. And you guys are a part of a cluster when you were young. For a time when you were living here as a young child, you guys were placed in this world. Clusters are formed out of children that seem to mesh well together. They cover the basis of every other so that they're more well-rounded group of people, so they learn really quickly under the care of a shepherd, kind of a mentor figure, to know how to survive in the world. Your mentor, his name is Rom. He is a half orc that you may have seen. We got a little art of him. And these daemons around Hearthome are becoming really increasingly dangerous, and that's where we're going to jump in with our session 1. But tonight, we're just going to be talking about our characters. So you guys may have picked a monstrous race, and in this world, they're very common. They make up the large majority of the world. So furbolgs, half-orcs, orcs, goblins, dragonborn, turtles, tabaxi, shifters, kobold, kenku, yuan-ti, minotaurs, all these are very common. So you'll see those probably around 60% of the time, and then you'll see civil races, which are less common. They're a little more untrusted because they are quite lower, and some people have seen more in these sharp tooths that fly above these strange flying creatures, and on their backs they see more civilized races. They assume that many people from the Skylands are more civil. Or you could be an uncommon race, like an Aarakocra, an Aasimar, a Genasi, a Changeling, Kalash Star, Warforged, or Goliath. So these guys, they don't have an opinion of you, but sometimes you catch the eye of other people just because of your rarity. So this is kind of the basis I sent out to my players, and then they came back at me with really lovely character ideas. So we can just jump into that. And I actually can play some nice music for everybody, so we have something if you guys would like. In our Brave Roll 20, if you guys want to hop on.
Oh,
there.
sure.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Chell will probably... Yeah, Chell will need
Yeah,
a link to that.
Can you drop the link for it
I
into the
will.
Discord chat?
I will. So yeah, that's kind of our basis. And you guys wanna just start, Victoria, since you started earlier with introducing yourself, do you want to start with a little short description of your 2 character ideas that you came with?
Yeah. Hold on, let me get into the launch games. Okay, yeah, so it's weird because, like...
Mhm.
Oh. Hold on, she's loading.
That's okay.
She's a fickle mistress. She's getting ready.
My cat is coughing somewhere.
Oh god, I forgot this beautiful art you have on here.
No, I got onions on screen. Fix this.
Okay. Yeah, I see Dylan. I feel so weird calling him that is in there, and I'm in there.
I mean, you can still say ink. It's like literally fine. It's just funny to me. That's all.
Oh, Danica, I think you're muted. If you were just saying something.
Oh my god, I remember this music from the first Brave.
Nice.
Nope.
Oh.
Oh no.
Whoa.
They're trying to just get their voice. I love this music. Here, oh well, I think Danica actually has to give the join link.
Yeah, I don't think we can do it.
Oh no.
Thanks for your patience, y'all.
Even in a recording.
Even in a recording. I
recording.
can't fucking win, guys.
In a recording though, you could cut out this stuff.
I mean, I can cut this. It's fine. But I won't, because this is on par for proficiency bonus.
That's just what it'd be like.
So,
Proficiency bonus be like.
It'd be like that sometimes.
fam, we're all gonna die. This world is too dangerous. Danica was saying like there's not really short rests, and I'm like, ooh. We've got like a healer who's like powered down.
So sad.
Oh, I hear her now.
Hi, we hear you.
Yay! Good. All right.
We see you.
Music's up. You guys are walking through your character ideas.
Did
You gotta
And
link
Chell-
the Roll20.
Chell needs a link for it because Chell wasn't in
Awesome.
Brave before.
Awesome. I will do that. You guys,
Should
do
be-
you guys know the shortcut for? Is it just in the chat channel?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
here
if
it
you go to
is.
the chat and scroll all the way to the top and then copy
Got
that
it.
link into the Discord.
Will do. Here you are, Chell. And Jody, I don't know if you have access, but here's it regardless. Woohoo! Alright, that's it.
Okay.
Alright, we got some little music playing in the background. Alrighty.
So you had us come up with multiple characters, and then we were gonna kind of pick
Yeah.
one.
Do you want me to,
So
like,
Christy,
just-
because she has issues.
Well, yeah.
Christy's
Do you want me
right.
to just
Well,
give like a
Christy's
brief overview of like the two, just like a quick like 30-second like thing for each of them?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Just to remind each other. And it's a good idea, I think, for just someone. So basically, this is the reason why I asked you guys to make two is that the exception of our lovely Christy, which is totally okay because this isn't mandatory or forced by any means. It's something that's great to recommend to players because a lot of people will come to the table with preconceived ideas for one idea and be really invested in that, but sometimes that doesn't always work out with the world that the DM's starting to create. So sometimes it can be great to either have your players come in really early with their characters and shape the world around them from the get-go, or talk with them and ask them to create a couple so then you guys can kind of see who vibes together. But yeah, please go for it. Give each other a little reminder.
Yeah. So my first idea that I had initially had as a backup for a wish, because I thought Temerity was gonna die, but she didn't, was a Warforged nature domain cleric named Gem, who was awoken with no memories of their previous life by an entity that they only know as the Crystal Mother. And they kind of worship this mysterious entity who's obviously like nature domain, but is like very connected with gemstones and crystals and like different parts of like the physical earth. That was my first idea, and then I had a hard time at first coming up with a second character, but then now I'm more leaning towards my second character, which is for a gnome fighter, eventually cavalier, named Lorelei, who rides a dire jackalope, and whose family is a bunch of farmers from Hearthome, but all of your characters would know if we were from the same cluster. Her husband was also in the cluster, and they have a young child. She and her husband went out on an expedition to try to do some daemon scouting and hunting, and it went bad. And he had because he's kind of like a ranger. He had his companion animal, this jackalope. He put Lorelei on it and had them run. And the last thing she saw was him being overwhelmed by daemons. But she refuses to believe that he's dead and is looking for him. And that's my two ideas.
Both of them fit in really well with the world, so it's very exciting because I love the idea of a dire jackalope with a gnome cavalier. It's awesome, and cavaliers work great because you guys have a lot of overland travel, which is wonderful. There are more wilderness cities.
Plus, small races riding medium mounts is much easier to deal with enclosed spaces as opposed to a medium creature riding a large mount.
That's very true. Your jackalope could go indoors, and it's a little more versatile. So those are super exciting. If you guys have if that immediately strikes any of you as like, oh, we could be related in some way, that is always great. But you guys are in the same cluster, so you guys would know quite a bit about each other. But yeah, awesome. Thank you. Christy, do you want to talk about your idea?
Sure. Hang on. Sorry, go to someone else. I've been fiddling
No
with
worries.
stuff.
That's okay. Ink, what do you got?
Okay, so like the way that mine worked was I like had two classes that I want to play in two races, but I made sure that they were kind of flexible enough that you could kind of switch them around. But so the very first thing that I had thought of was a tiefling monk, because you were talking about how tieflings have sort of a different vibe in this, and I was kind of jiving with it. The kind of a lot with their connection to the daemons and the monsters in this world, and so it kind of leads to an inherent distrust. And I thought of this really cool because the world has this whole kind of light and dark theme to it. So I had like Quasimodo origin of like wasn't born in this city, but I was brought basically as a baby, and that my mother had been fleeing from monsters and was kind of like doing the whole like sanctuary, please, sanctuary. Later died of her wounds, and so the temple or church would have taken in this tiefling child as sort of honoring her death wish and raising him, so that you have this very strange character of they're this demonic, untrustworthy race trying to be molded by the church into like something a little bit more redeemable. And I thought of this really cool job of basically a candle keeper, how they kind of take advantage of the fact that they have that demonic blood, and so they make sure at night when things are most dangerous that they go around, they make sure that all the candles are lit and all the fires are lit, to keep everyone safe. And it was a very kind of trying to go against your blood sort of thing, a religious, a monk that's not necessarily a monastery kind of kung fu monk, but a temple monk, which was also very common in sort of fantasy and historical contexts.
I love that.
It's very thematic and good, but the other one is too, and I'm indecisive as fuck. So the other one was I also was intrigued by the Warforged because they could have this connection to the old world. And I actually didn't get to finish explaining this before we started recording. So I thought like, well, I don't know how the old world works. No one does. But I was like, well, I turned on my DM brain a little bit, and I was like, well, if I was doing it, I would think like they needed soldiers, but they needed to preserve people, and kind of playing with that, like downloading your consciousness into a robot, that the Warforged were created by people basically offering to be turned into Warforged by offering their soul. But that then the apocalypse happened, not all of them were activated, and then now in the future, in this post-apocalyptic time, this Warforged has been reactivated. They have no memory, but they could maybe get it back, and they have no emotion, but they could get them back. So they're just sort of this relic of an old world that has been repurposed as a guardian of this city and its people, and possibly a particular person specifically. And they would be a barbarian, made to fight, made to protect, with the rage reflavored less as anger and more as sort of overcharging one's body with energy, which then leaves them sort of exhausted. But that's sort of like the nature of their mechanical form, is to be able to push themselves past physical limits. A very interesting character that's both gentle but very, very detached. Either way, this would be a lawful neutral character. And I mean, the barbarian could work with tiefling. That's what I meant, like they can kind of interchange, because it could work with the tiefling story, and then the rage in that context would just be like the demonic blood that's sort of forcing them and almost trying to get them into that more monstrous nature. In which case it would kind of be like, I'm trying to control it, I'm trying to subdue that. And that would be kind of an internal struggle. So they're both
they both have a lot of great elements to them. I think that would really give me a lot of seeds that would be really fun to roleplay with you. I love the opportunity that it gives with the like amnesia and elements of like what is my connection with this part of the world, like daemons for the other, your monk character. There's like a lot of good stuff in there. So I'm excited. We can open it up after everyone's introduced their characters to interject and stuff. Chell, do you want to talk about the character that's possibly connected to the Warforged?
I did come with two ideas, but I'm very much leaning more towards the first one, the one that we've kind of been talking about mostly, and the one that Dylan and I have kind of been talking about them being more interchanged, is a Yanti cleric. And you and I had kind of talked about it, I was thinking more along the lines of the god of the stars and navigation and community, and I think you also said hope.
It's known as the Raven.
Yeah, well, there you go. I was thinking either a life or a light domain. And I'm playing with the idea of them potentially having originally been a Yuan-ti, but once they were touched with whatever this deity did to give them these abilities, they were then turned into an Aasimar. And I kind of want them to be a very idealistic kind of character. They would believe very deeply that this god intended something very great for them. They wouldn't necessarily believe that they are capable of doing that great thing. They would be a very humble type of person. But they would believe that there's no other reason that this would have happened to me. But they're going to be the kind of person that their desire to help people is both a flaw and a good character trait. Like they would help people to their own detriment. So I'm really kind of excited to maybe potentially play with a character arc that leads to like, I can't do this, I can't handle this, and needing to like figure out like how to be courageous enough to do the things that they are being asked to do, or that they think that they're being asked to do by their god.
I think that's awesome.
And then Dylan and I have been kind of playing a little bit with our characters. They fit very, very well together either way. So the other character that I was kind of thinking was also a barbarian, but I really want to play with the spiritual aspects of things because I don't normally do that with D&D characters. So with the barbarian, I was thinking either like an ancestral guardian barbarian or a totem warrior barbarian, because I remember in something that you had sent to us, there was something about like some sort of animal that is like very symbolic to these people. So flavoring their totem to be that animal.
Yeah,
basically.
It is. It's if I remember correctly, it is a
it's like a saber-toothed
tiger bear.
Yeah. So I was thinking like flavoring their totem to be that animal, basically. And I don't have them as fleshed out as I do the first one, but I do want to stick to like playing with the spirituality aspect of things, whether that be the cleric or the barbarian.
I think that's amazing. Awesome.
I like that. That Yuan-ti idea seems very different from Felix.
It's very different.
It's we were talking. It's like nothing that Chell's ever made.
Dylan, we were talking about how it's so out of my comfort zone when it comes to role playing characters, which I love. Like I'm like on board completely, and that's why I'm doing it. But like you had mentioned that Yuan-ti were like one of the main races, so there was the potential of me becoming like the face of the party because the other races may not be as more accepted. And I was like, I've literally never done that before. So I'm excited to potentially get out of my comfort zone a little bit with role playing and with.
I think that's awesome. I totally love, because I've talked with people about this before. How I feel like often when we start playing D&D, we take our most idealized version or the most like entertaining version of ourselves that we wish we were like, and then eventually like we'll start like doing different things, like weirder things that we don't usually fall into. I think we do pick those first ones because we like something about them. So please let me know if you're ever like, this is so out of my comfort zone. I still think these tropes are really fun. You can message me those tropes. And this goes for everybody. If you have tropes or like TV shows that you're like, I love this dynamic, or I love this character, these kind of character arcs, just like message me them, because the more you message me those kind of things, the more I can make them like those things that you're always like, oh, this is my favorite. Like I love this shit.
I
always love that.
I always, when I make a character, I actually write to myself what I think their character arc could be. I did it for Nell with Pick. I was like, this is kind of the growth I could see him having.
That's kind of what I've been thinking about a lot with this. The cleric character too. The potential like places I could see their character growth going. And
I like that this is Chell's version of I'm a mountain biking witch from the future.
That's amazing. I'm a mountain biker.
I don't know if you've seen that gif that people are like, your first D&D character is like, I'm a half elf, he's perfect at everything. And then it's like you're a goblin that has no name and can't speak.
That's so true. That's exactly what D&D characters evolve into. So that's awesome. I'm super excited for that. Also, a side note for everybody. Yeah, please message me tropes you love, because that would be amazing. And if you give me lots of options, I can give you more and more opportunities for them to be things you didn't expect, or all sorts of stuff. It's gonna be great. Awesome. Okay, now, Jody, do you want to go ahead and talk about your character ideas?
Okay.
Jody's new to the group, so everyone's very excited to play with her.
Yeah. So I have two characters. So we got a Kenku paladin named Peep, who is small bird will stab, must protect. So that's fun to think of and just roleplay. And the other one is Cherry, a tiefling wizard. Cherry's a pink twig, to be completely honest, who's attempting to do things way out of his league and will loot everything. He picks all the elf root in Dragon Age. He will take all the weed and Blue Mountain flowers in Skyrim. Like that's how he goes. He has too many pockets filled with things. So as far as
he's the one whose inventory weight goes to 500 with cheese wheels.
Not even cheese wheels. Like the potential of it being a cracker or maybe a biscuit. You gotta find out, and he'll just keep it until it's useful in some way.
I have a Kenku player in my home game. And the roleplay aspect of Kenku is so much fun.
I imagine it'd be interesting just making odd noises for like 3 hours.
They kind of play like catchphrase with it. It's really cool.
Yeah, Jody, would you want to do the parroting, or would you want to do just normal speech? I was just curious if you had an idea yet.
Parroting sounds fun, but I'm very bad at parroting in real life, so it'd just be kind of a weird experiment.
Yeah, we could do a mix of both. You could say that there's a wealth of words and things that you have on your belt, and do a mix.
And Peep as a paladin Kenku doesn't exactly have that many ideas. They're mostly just there to do justice, fight good, boo-boo, all that. So they're pretty simple, but I enjoy the idea of something small and deadly. And yet, at the same time, will heal you, or just put his shield up, and the shield's like a foot wide.
I'm kind of interested, like, if this was a Kenku that had picked up like a little bit of like non-parroting speech. It's like, what are like the implications of that? Like, how did that happen? Like, were Kenku always like that in this world, or like did something happen? And then like Peeps out here like, I can talk.
Everyone else is like stuck in the Stone Ages. These uneducated fools.
That's awesome.
You could get like one of those apps that plays the rap air horn and just rap air horn.
I need a soundboard. Record everyone as they say things and play.
Yeah, because like so like in the player's handbook, it's like, oh, if you're playing a Kenku, you can just say that your Kenku makes a sound that sounds like a hammer hitting a nail. But like you can do that. Like you can get a little soundboard. You could just get some weird props and make it a little impromptu ASMR stream.
I love that idea. That sounds so fun.
I have to prep that. I gotta find the perfect meme-worthy sound.
Awesome. All right. And I missed the first half of your explanation, Jody. Everyone cut out for a second. I fixed it. But you got to tell them about Cherry too?
A little bit, not like in detail, just that he loots everything.
Okay, awesome.
And has too many pockets.
And is a tiefling.
Tiefling wizard,
awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Gotcha. All right, now Christy.
All right, so I'm probably playing Nova Shauna. Her name, you can just call her Nova. It's easier. She's a Kalishtar, and one of the things I really focused on was Kalishtar don't have the ability to dream. So I gave her the job of being a dream interpreter because she's fascinated that everyone else can dream and she can't, and she views dreams as like the window that is closest to the soul. And because she can't access her own, she wants to learn about the world around her via everyone else's dreams. So she's got a tarot deck, and I kind of based it off of, I had this before I created this character. It's called the Dreamer's Journal for tarot and dream interpretation. So I was like,
that's amazing.
It's perfect. She's also
what a great reference.
I know, and it was totally by accident. But she's also
that
obsessed
reminds me of Victoria saw something like that too.
Yeah, and
Side
she's
note.
obsessed
Yeah.
with the color purple, so she's a rogue and has a tendency to steal anything, even if it's valuable or not, that's purple. So that's going to be interesting.
Cute.
She's going to be a homebrew rogue, so it's going to be a little bit different than the standard Wizards of the Coast rogues. It's going to be more on the Kalishtar side of the psychic and the dreams type thing, so it's going to be interesting. I haven't really fleshed her out too much, but I know she's soft-spoken and she's more good aligned for a rogue. But yeah, that's
I feel like she and Cherry would get along. They'd just be like Cherry would be like, look, I picked these flowers and I found this purple caterpillar that was dried up on the flower.
I don't know if the husk is. Yeah, he probably would know if the husk is useful. He'd keep it anyways. Do some tests. Maybe find more. Like just.
And
keep
then
it
after
somewhere.
it was done being tested, if it was not useful, then be like, here you go.
I very reluctantly let it go.
The-
If this boy got his hands on a bag of holding, oh man, the world would end.
But like the looting, all of these weird little things will be so funny because you could do component spellcasting.
Oh yeah. So Cherry
So
only
it-
does component because I have more fun just
Yeah.
doing that. Like he's always
It's more fun.
poor.
Yeah.
He like a lot of the times he's like, I want to cast a spell and I have none of this stuff. Where
Yeah,
the
I
hell
actually
can
like
find
that.
an owl?
Like, I like that dynamic of Cherry with Nova, and I feel like Lorelai would get along with them too because she's like a homesteader. Like, she was a city guard and then spent a couple years like basically just like making everything on her own and like living on a farm, and like kind of similar with like the component stuff. Even though she's not like a spellcaster, like she had to raise her family like getting all their own resources. So I feel like that would be really cool altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
a low budget
Very of
Costco
the earth.
magician.
Like a mall magician.
Yeah. Occasionally has real magic. Sometimes just sells you crap ointment that might actually make your skin moisturize, but you don't know.
I love that. I think they sound like, especially Nova and Cherry. I already see a dynamic, and I see a dynamic between obviously, Ink's character and Chell's character, and I think that we have connections there. And then I also feel like something about I need to remember, Lorelai and Chell's character I feel like might get along in some way.
The cleric.
I feel like they might have a I feel
I
like they
kind
might
of was
have,
getting
like,
that. I was getting that vibe.
I was too.
yeah. Which is really, I think, exciting. So there's possibilities there, I think, for overlap. Is anyone leaning towards one over the other at the moment?
So something I was telling Chell, and and Chell was like, Ink, you don't have to be like that, and I was like, but I am,
mood.
because I'm remembering now that Victoria had a Warforged and Jody had a Tiefling, and I knew that at least, and I know that both of those characters, by their race alone, have a very unique interaction with the world, and I know no one would say you're stepping on my toes, but if there's gonna be like if there's gonna be a Tiefling, I want there to just be. I want Jody to just be the Tiefling, so that it's not like, this is your very, very specific world interaction and how people treat you, and also you know what I mean? just so that that can be something that one person gets to
We'll
experience.
just focus on all the racism.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's
you really
yeah.
can.
I want I know, but it was kind of like,
I see what you mean.
So like I'm the only goblin in Chell's campaign. I'm the only goblin, so I basically was like, this is how I feel goblins are treated, and so it's nice when there's kind of one of every race, because then everyone kind of gets their each
That
person
time to shine.
yeah.
I
Exactly,
think
so.
that's a really nice thing to think about, for sure. I think there's also flavor that can come out of having two, and I think there's also flavor that can come out of having two Warforged, or I think there's possibilities for finding ways to distinguish them from one another. So if we do two tieflings, and if the thing you enjoy most, solely because you enjoy it, Ink, is that you want to do a tiefling or you want to do a warforged, we'll have some good flavor. I'll make sure that we have some difference there. But
if it makes it any easier for you, I'm leaning towards my gnome. I'm leaning more towards the gnome, not the warforged.
Jody, are you leaning towards one or the other, or are you like me and you're like literally right in the middle?
I'm in the middle. I'll flex. Like, I've played Cherry before, and I'm also nervous about like, you know, the Kenku. So it's like, well, I could do the same thing I always do, or I could try a new thing, and I don't care.
With the Kenku, if you want, like, I can talk to you, like, here, obviously, or privately, kind of about what my player does for my home game, to give you kind of an idea, because there's the roleplay aspect of the Kenku can be a bit daunting if you've never done that sort of thing before. So I can kind of at least tell you how they do it and see if that's something that's interesting to you.
Yeah, that'd be good to talk about.
Yeah.
Paladin also gives you another connection to, because I mean the paladin cleric relationship is always
that would give you a connection,
and the paladin rogue.
Depending on what like god you would follow, that would definitely give you a connection my way too.
I actually can read you guys. What are they like? So I talked with Jody like extensively about what that means to be a wizard in this world. I have a couple homebrew stuff I've picked up for specifics of like, basically we're going to take the base wizard from D&D 5e to make sure our mechanics aren't going crazy out there, because sometimes I've played homebrew stuff with people before and it's gone a little haywire occasionally. So we'll take the base for wizard, but there's reflavoring that's going to happen for some of the things. Basically Jody can invent more spells than say you would in a normal D&D game, because magic is not understood, so a lot of spells don't have names. It's a process to learn them. It's like trial and error, so I have like a bit of a, not quite like wild magic, it's gonna just be like a bit of a, sometimes things will go haywire, so maybe that what you thought was a bat wing was like a leathery daemon wing that looks just like a bat. Like things can go strange with a percentile of sorts. So little things like that, but I don't want to take away from the fun of a wizard. So there's definitely powerful.
Well, Cherry's never been a consistent wizard, which is what I like about Cherry. So his stats are, like in another game when I played him, his stats were bizarre. Like he was like, I got punched by a turtle at level 1 and almost died. All of his spells, like I picked them for like utility or whatever I think he'd want, not necessarily what would make the game more like efficient or anything. So
I love doing
having
that.
Weird magic just works with Cherry.
Yeah,
and Nova's very much a weird magic type entity too. So
yeah. You all are kind of weirdos, except for perhaps Lorelei, which I love. That there's
gnome with fighter is like, I was looking at the stats. It's like not
that's
great.
Unusual. It's not great, but
I considered halfling
you're
for a second, but I chose gnome for a very specific reason, because it's like it's not optimized, and for a couple other reasons.
No, gnomes are actually more uncommon than most other races too. So you guys are actually all weirdos, which I love. But you're also
so they took all the weirdos and they were like, so
you're
we'll
a
just
cluster
put them
now.
all together.
Put all these weird kids that are eating glue in one room and leftovers.
I love that canon.
Gosh.
Kids with the glue
I
on
love
their
that.
hand, wait for it to dry, and peel it off and creep people out.
Like that one's peeled off the paint chips and might be chewing them. Like
I love the headcanon that. Yeah, okay, you guys, y'all are the weird kids that they just were kind of like, let's just keep them contained. Rom, you're gonna take this one.
Rom.
And he was like, oh god.
Rom.
What
Daddy
did Rom
Rom.
do to get
like,
this punishment?
all right.
He's too hot.
That works too with kind of like what I was thinking, that she was like, my character was like as a kid, because she's like never does.
Oh,
what
you're
she's told.
horrible.
I'm horrible. I am. I never do what I'm told, and I run off and I do shit all the time, and like
Oh, I love that.
I
Oh,
sneak
fun.
food at lunch.
Yeah, the like little
Oh, I
bit of
love
stuff
it.
that we role played was like because of her powers, the priests were all like, okay, so we're gonna keep, stay in the temple, do your afternoon prayers, and like she keeps running off, and like being like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. And like it was like this, she doesn't know that she could be the savior of humanity.
Oh god, she's gonna die by tripping over a rock and falling down.
Yeah, no, they're
rafters of the city.
They're literally
God.
like the gods chose her to save the world, and she's gonna like fall down the stairs.
Oh.
I love the canon. Okay, so I love the idea that Rom with your character Chell is like this sort of like is always the one to. So shepherds used to be they used to be outlanders. They used to journey out and to collect supplies, kill daemons, correspond with other cities, civilizations. So they're very like not all of them are sweet, but at least Rom to you guys is very like parental, very like sweet and soft. But then he just like if you run off, like your character, she runs off, just suddenly like she's like I got away, and then just like face plants because and then there's Rom and he's like, honey, what are you doing?
She like runs away from the
Rapid.
priests and is like nice, gets elbows deep in a vat of tar, and Ram is like, what are you doing?
The other thing
What are
I
you
loved
doing,
about
honey? Yeah.
the other thing I loved about if I did the Warforged and we went with the thing that hold on.
Hello.
I'm being told to open the window for airflow purposes. But so
Everybody's hot.
if we went with the thing that like Chell's magic activated me, then it'd be funny because I'm like this giant 7-foot tall thing, and then they put me with all of these children. But I'm also the youngest.
Child.
Yeah, I'm also the youngest.
You're like
I
So you
love
have
it.
Rom, you have Rom, and you have the little circle of kids, and everyone's sitting crisscross, and then you've got this 7-foot tall robot, knees to chest,
Giant
sitting
robot.
like this. Just sitting like this, like
I
sitting
love
and is like
it.
almost sitting and is almost as tall as Rom, and is just like
Oh no, taller than Rom. Taller than
Or
Rom.
taller than
Rom's not
Rom.
that tall. I love that.
okay.
Oh
So,
god, I love that.
I do
he's-
love that.
Yeah, he's
it's kind of fun.
he's like 5'10". You're much
And-
bigger. I love that so much. I think that's really fun.
And Chell was thinking
Always
about her character giving him the name Haven because he's her safe haven and he keeps everyone's like keeps them. So it's kind of like okay, we'll put the big robot with Rom's weird kids and like he'll have some extra help with keeping them all safe. But also the robot is
one of the
but
children.
also yeah, and because the robot is the Warforged would be very much just kind of like baby brain, but
Yeah.
speaks like a man.
Speaks like a man, is
He's
old
baby.
soul.
Yeah,
He's old soul,
talks very Iron Giant.
Yeah.
Like
I think
Stay.
Rom I love that. I think Rom would have immediately like, well, if this Warforged was awakened, probably was put away because people were afraid, not sure what was going on with this thing. People
It's
would have
dark in
been
here.
freaked for a little bit. Yeah, that would have been probably how it seems like he maybe would have reacted, or they or she. I don't know what, if you want to non-gender them, or if they maybe
I've been doing
killed
it
characters,
him.
like, oh.
Don't mind me.
him.
I have to take care of my cat. Just did something. Hang on, I'll be right back.
You're good.
You're
We
good.
were-
You're
we were-
good.
No worries.
I think Chell's character as a child might have called it a he. I was
That's
doing
why I
it.
was doing
she was
that.
doing he.
I
Yeah.
was kind of
Yeah.
you were doing it and I was doing he because I was like she wouldn't understand that.
Yeah,
it's
no.
She
not a
wouldn't know.
person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
And we've
I love
and we've
that.
done the whole like we played with like a little tea set, like so it's like, but it was so like we did the knight and the princess, but I was the princess and
I
she
love
was the
it.
knight, and it was like, oh no, I am stuck in the tower, Lady Esu. Please come save
I love
me.
it so much. Oh my
It's like a little
God,
bit
it's
Baymax
so
mixed with
cute.
Iron Giant, and I
What
love
kills
it.
me though is that
Yeah.
Ink has both of these characters, and we love them both so much. So he's struggling to choose.
I kind of like the barbarian with like because like the party dynamic that I really like. Obviously, you have the barbarian with the cleric, and then I kind of really like Christie's rogue,
Go rogue.
with the wizard.
The wizard. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I like those together.
We need to connect our fighter to someone as well. We'll get to.
Yeah, I
we'll
didn't talk to anybody.
Christy.
I should have talked to everybody about that, but I didn't because I didn't
I
want to
This
be
is
think
the
annoying.
gonna
time for
connect
that.
all
We're-
of you.
let's make some connections. We're
That's
gonna
why
make
we're
some
here.
connections
Yeah.
tonight.
I mean, it sounds
Yeah.
like people are starting to do their shifting and leaning. Jody,
Yeah.
I think that while Jody's not here, I think that Jody should go out of the comfort zone and go
I
for
think
that
so too.
Kenku.
I think it would
The
be
Kenku
good.
would be
Personally.
fun.
Yeah.
The tiefling
I
would be
love-
interesting because
I-
it would be the only tiefling in the party, but
Mhm.
that Kenku
Are you
paladin,
thinking you're gonna do the Warforged?
I think it's
I
too
see you
good.
kind of leaning. I see you leaning.
I think
I think it's
really
too
good.
Mhm.
I think any kind
love
of
them.
game with Danica DMing is a good time to go out of the box with
Yeah.
roleplay and weird
Yeah.
combinations of race and class.
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause-
you know, Christy doesn't
Mhm.
like rogue, so the fact that Danica's being very flexible with what I want to do with this character makes me so happy.
I just love the
Absolutely.
idea.
Yeah.
And like my character, now that I'm like decided on this cleric, her name is Esu.
Lady
Esu?
Esu.
Esu, ESSU, Esu.
Okay.
But I just love the idea that I have been connected with Dylan's character for some like 20 years. So like,
Yeah.
Danica was kind of talking about how we were together as this cluster, and then we kind of separated for a while, and then came back
Mhm.
as adults to like do whatever this thing that Rom needs us to do is. But with Dylan, it's been the whole 20 years that you've been with me because the
Because
temple's kind of
I'm
assigned
told
you
to like
me.
not leave your side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
like
would
that.
just,
It's
and
like
I'm
a
not
directive.
wanting her to be very big. She's gonna be like 5'2" at most. So she's gonna be this teeny little thing walking around with this gigantic robot following her around. I love it so much.
I love that.
It's-
Because I'm pretty sure that's probably some kind of trope with like
It's
the big and small,
literally-
but
Oh,
the
it is.
big
It's the
person, the
big-
big personality is in the little. I just love that.
I love it.
Yeah,
so
no,
it's
I'm-
literally
I love
my
it.
I'm the
favorite
big
trope.
person because I
Gentle
normally don't play.
giant.
I have never played a barbarian, and and it's very funny to have the barbarian be the emotionally passive one.
I love that.
You
Mhm.
know,
It's
and
really
I
fun.
don't. As
Yeah.
everyone knows, I don't play passive characters. I'm very sort of like in your face.
Yeah.
So I'll be in your face physically punching you, but in conversations, it's a character that very much sort of is like I'm a servant to another. And I like that. I honestly am okay with that. I'm okay with my character, at least in the beginning, being like my purpose is to further their story
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
because until
Right.
something happens, I have no reason to believe
Mhm.
otherwise. Yeah.
Yeah, and that'll be what'll happen in the world to encourage. That
And
is an exciting question.
And it's like the from the knees down there's like little drawings where she drew on me from when she was a kid. And like maybe as she got older, maybe you have like a painting tool proficiency. So
Yeah.
now it's actually like you paint because
Ooh,
we were
that'd be
saying like with the connection to the moon and stuff, it would be really cool if you went with the ASMR thing. Oh no!
Oh no, Coco.
Yeah, so my cat just got pretty sick, so I'm gonna have to deal with that. I'm gonna get off a bit early. Sorry.
That's
everyone,
okay.
I'll be
Poor
back for the
Coco.
actual thing.
That's okay.
Yeah. So goodbye. Nice
We
meeting
love
you
you,
guys
Jody.
again.
Bye, Jody. Poor Coco's been sick recently.
Is
so
she gonna come
Coco
back
will
or
have
is she off?
to her.
I
I think
off.
she's probably gonna be
gone.
off.
Okay.
Okay.
Poor Jody. Poor Coco. Ugh. She's been sick for the last couple of days, unfortunately. We'll jump back in with Jody and her character to see what she's leaning towards a little bit later. But thank you, Jody, for coming on. All right. So, I really love the idea that they have that connection. I think the big small dynamic is going to be really fun. Also, I was thinking when you guys were talking about by the way, the painting tool proficiency, Esu could put something like of her god on the front chest of the that's actually the
Tell him.
Twin
The Raven.
Oh, yeah. Tell me.
What am I telling?
Got an idea?
Because we were talking about if you did the ASMR, how you might,
right.
and then you were gonna
talking about how if I did the ASMR that like maybe there was like I don't know how you would deal with ASMR in this world, but like that there was maybe like an actual like physical change that I would still kind of look like a Yuan-Ti, but maybe my skin color would be a different color. Maybe my eyes would still look serpentine, but they wouldn't be yellow anymore or something like that. But like her skin would kind of like in the moonlight would kind of like sparkle like stars.
Ooh.
and look like the constellations.
And look like constellations, yeah. And then she would like either like carve or like paint that on his armor.
So much. I love it.
Because he normally is like he has a blue glow to him, so very much like the eyes look like stars. But then like there's colors to sort of denote. It's the closest thing he gets to emotions, where it's like blue is normal, yellow is sort of like on alert or nervous or something, and then the rage.
You're talking about the light
goes red.
The light
in the
Haven?
Warforged. No, the light in the Warforged.
Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Haven is me.
Yeah. Hey, you're thinking his name might be Haven. I might. Right. I don't have to go with. Do you want me to write that down right now, or is that just a thought for the moment?
We were thinking Haven or Rook, because we were thinking if they played chess, the Rook protecting the queen. So it's like.
Oh, that's cute.
And it's because it's a little castle.
I like that.
But Haven gets you in the.
Yeah,
Haven's
I like
really
both
cute.
of them. I think they're both really cool. So you're thinking colors-wise, yellow is like on alert, or
yeah,
you had like another idea
like
one.
If Esu went missing, it's like, or like or like perception
Red.
checks, or if it's like if we're like thinking maybe combat happens, it's yellow. Rage is like red. Goes all red. It was very cool. I was going to describe the rage as like the little panels of the armor, which when instead of breathing they kind of like shift. It's almost like puzzle pieces that like pop out and then they pop back in. But then when they rage, the sort of like body plating to kind of go like, I'm being reckless, I'm not protecting myself, I'm very angry, they kind of like all shift into the shoulders and the arms.
That's cool.
Kind of, so there's like a transformation that happens.
I like that. But maybe that ups ability, like his power level.
Yeah, because the rage mechanically gives advantage on strength checks and bonus strength damage, so like it makes sense. It's a flavor that goes with the mechanics of it, which I always love.
It does. Okay, I love that. All right, what about and then I was thinking, by the way, because I think it's nice to connect you guys to the NPC you guys know well right now with. I feel like Rom for Haven, maybe. I think this might have happened where Esu maybe they had let you down into maybe I feel like somewhere under the city they chose to build here, which Ink, I think I liked your idea of they chose to build here for whatever reason. Perhaps it's on top of some structures that warm the area so that it's a little more hospitable in this area of the world to build stuff on. Some innate power sources or piping, etc., to flow water, things like that through the city. But you guys went down, maybe that there was some sort of relic or something of the Raven. I was about to show you this because this is actually the symbol that they used for the Raven on the book, one of the player's handbooks. You can take this and make it something different if you like, if you want to make it something new or funky fresh. I'll send you a little photo of it. But basically, and this would help for Jody's Kenku, which I can bring this to her tomorrow at work because I have to see her at work tomorrow. So we can talk about it and cover what we talked about tonight. There's kind of two gods that are extremely popular in this world. There's the Raven and the Worm, or the Snake, sometimes called the Snake, but often called the Worm. People think that they restarted life on Earth after the cataclysm. That these gods were kind of born from the tragedy as the only hope that started again, and that the raven carried the worm across the globe, and that kind of made fertility again. To people who worship the raven, they think the raven was the divine god, and that the worm was the fertility snake. That one was the secondary god. But for people who believe in the worm, believe is the divine source. That they think that the raven was just a holy,
messenger,
not divine god. Yeah, they kind of believe that one's more powerful than the other, so they often butt heads on that front. So there's kind of that difference there if you guys are interested in it. The worm is like an Ouroboros snake.
I love that.
Like it looks like this one.
Yeah.
And that one's more of like a father figure. Is more looked at as like wisdom, and they think that he kind of has this kind of similar to, I'm trying to think of the name in Greek mythology, or even in Forgotten Lands, there's a god called Ao. It's like just the creator of all gods. So
Yeah,
so people think that the worm is the one that created them.
I've used AO or something.
Yeah. So kind of like that, but people who worship the raven think that she is the creator of gods, and that he was just kind of this tertiary holy character, and they're a little more liked in the area that you guys live. They kind of symbolize like stars, navigation, the ability to heal others. They kind of have this really like connection to life with the raven is really big. She's often represented as a bird, and then there is her eyes look like stars, so it's just like this black silhouette with these 2 star points for her eyes. They also have something called the Raven Sisters, which are, so these sisters are followers of the raven. They're kind of more like witches, but they're in this world they seem more like witches, but they're actually very popular and well loved. They heal things, they help harvest, but it's very minor. Like it's very, very minor. It's more of witch doctor like healing. It's not like magic. It's like more like the way of just knowing what salves are best, or like weird medicines, like not the leeches, but similar
Tinctures
things
and,
where they
like,
actually do help. People really believe in them. Yeah. For some
So are the
reason,
ravens-
everyone's robot-y right now.
Huh?
Everyone's a robot. I can't quite hear.
Oh,
Hello?
we
I'll
weren't
do a
we
quick
weren't
little-
talking.
I'm going to
Okay.
disconnect and connect because I can't hear anybody.
Okay.
I see people's mouths moving though. Hello?
Danica.
Hi. Hello.
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 Okay.
Hi.
Don't worry, we weren't really saying much at all.
Yeah, we were listening.
Okay, awesome. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anybody. And,
So
and
for-
when anyone did talk, they were kind of murmuring. Go
The
for it.
Raven Sisters, is
Yeah.
that like what essentially the priests are called, or are they like a small group of people?
I think they'd probably be whatever in the temple is considered those who go out. So if you want, please feel free to flavor them as you'd like. You can change their name. You can change what you feel like they symbolize if you want to kind of take ownership of it. But that's kind of the idea I had. They roam the land often and try to help people. They kind of have there's a couple other gods that I can talk about. The ones that are directly against these sisters. The god is called Rust and Heme. They're kind of they're more known as like iron and wood, these really essential materials for the earth. A lot of people respect them as like a pair, like partners. They don't believe in the message of the raven, and they actually they believe more in Rust and Heme are more primal older religions that believe in very different things. They believe in tributes to gods. They believe in putting up food. Silver is something that can kill daemons quite easily, and so they offer that up to these gods, especially Rust. They believe more in the belief that like you need to forge you need to like basically work humanity. Humanity's not perfect, and you need to fix it by working it, like tilling the land or turning iron into something usable. So they believe in things like human sacrifice and offerings and stuff like that. It's less common, but it's actually in some places pretty integrated into society, so it's not viewed as weird. Not like we would view it.
Is it in Hearthome, or is this?
This isn't popular in Hearthome, actually. This is this is something more south.
I was like,
yeah, no, they're Raven. So they're called the Rust brothers. The people who follow Rust and Heme, they're called the Rust brothers. So Rust brothers will pay to capture anyone who captures a sister, a Raven sister. They'll pay to capture them and take them. So there's kind of that dynamic as well.
Would Esu basically be a Raven sister because she's a cleric?
You could consider yourself one of those. Maybe something on another level of a Raven sister, because you're kind of more even more well known than a Raven sister.
Raven mother.
Yeah. Oh, no. I don't like
Raven
that.
daddy.
Raven queen.
Raven daddy.
Raven queen. Maybe this is where the Raven queen comes.
Maybe you could name your, if you have an idea for a title, or I can help come up with one. But I do think they would probably call you something because they have not seen a cleric.
So would I be like the only cleric there? Is that kind of what
at the level of
idea?
At the level of what you got? There may be one other leader in the church that's kind of at that level of you, but you're growing exponentially in your power, and they're like, oh shit,
you're running the church by like 25.
You're definitely, it seems like maybe not like the leadership role definitely isn't they're more trying to help you lead and help you guide you into this role, but they don't even know what capacity you can lead this to. There is legend of people like you in the past who've had this kind of power, but it's rare. And we can go over that a little bit more, and I'll probably give you a name or two. But yeah, that's kind of a dynamic. If you want to jump into that, please feel free to tell me more. And there's actually the Rust. There was someone called the Rust Lord. His name is Kartorda. He's more to the south. He's the current leader of the Rust Brothers.
So these are going to be people I want to avoid.
Perhaps, yes. You've been taught.
If they want Raven sisters, they want you.
You've been taught very early on that this is the enemy. That these are people that seek to undermine the Raven. So.
Oh, the Rook and the Raven.
Ooh. And then there's a couple other gods.
Isn't the Rook and the Raven like a company that makes D&D
stuff? Yeah. I love that. Fuck.
They literally exist.
Excuse me, we accidentally made your company title. Oops.
Don't copyright us.
I can go over a couple more gods if anyone's interested in them, at least in this area of the world that you know of. There's Huge. Huge is a forge god. It's kind of the god of building, invention, like our kind of source of technology. They think that that a lot of people who believe in this god believe that every time they're reborn, this god will reforge them into someone better every single birth. So the more times you're born or live, the better you are as a person. They believe in the sun is his forge, this god's forge, and that the stars are the outer forges, and that your goal is to basically be a good person so that you can reach these outer forges in the afterlife. So that's kind of one god. Clay is the god who shaped the world itself, like the soil underneath you. It's kind of like a god of nature, clay. They are seen as this sexless god, kind of like a deity, like a craftsperson. They're very, very loved for farmers. If you're so interested in knowing more about them, there was they have an organization called the Shard Maidens that follow them. They're pretty cool. I'll tell you more about them. They're kind of like ancient protectorates of nature. Then there's Whale, goddess of the wind, and is a very close to the raven. It's actually, she's considered the raven's wife. She's the god of the wind.
Lesbian.
Yeah, some lesbian protector gods. So she and the raven are really well known. She is known for the god of weather. She's honored by everyone who worships the raven, and vice versa. And then there's Flo, goddess of cleanliness, and basically like purity, because this world is infected, people believe, by darkness. Flow, you can perform like a ritual where you just basically fill a bucket with water, and someone will put like a ritual, if someone of a follower of Flow will perform a ritual, and in some cases a miracle will happen, and the water overflows from the bucket suddenly and like cleanse your house so that you will be free from demons in your home. That's another one. There's one called the Night Walker. The Night Walker is the oldest one. This one's the god of untamable forces of nature. They shatter the ordinary and harmony. People kind of worship them to avoid bad luck, but they're kind of not. They're kind of like they're all about mysteries and untamed magic.
So it's like Umberly, like that they worship out of like fear to placate, as opposed to like love and adoration.
Yes, absolutely. They're very, they're wisps of smoke are like their spies, and they're vague and ethereal fragments of fog. People often think the still mist that covers the earth is because people displease the Nightwalker, and so he casts the earth in this still mist that sometimes comes around. I think I told you guys a little bit about still mist. It's like a weather condition, so it's like, there's a still mist storm, and that means that the whole city's going to be covered in it for a couple days at night. Only the most direct sun will burn it away, or if you have artificial light that can disperse it. But that's one. And then the last god is Horn, but Horn isn't really worshipped in your area. It's named after a volcano. That's all of you would know about it, because it's very far from you. But more of a fire god. But yeah, their name is Horn. But yeah, those are some of the. Oh, one more thing that's pretty important for anyone who follows the Raven. There is an organization called Repenters, or they're often called Blackwings. They are kind of like a doomsday cult that sprung up from the Raven Church. Yeah, they believe that the Raven is in fact a Karen eater, more of a god of death, and people think they think that people who worship the Raven as she is are totally wrong about her, and that she is actually his name is Korax, and that he's actually he believes in death being more important to people than they think it is, and that's why daemons are around. They're a little more wrapped up in that. So they often surround themselves in half-tamed ravens. So like in this world, ravens are a bit bigger than normal. A lot of animals are weird and strange in this world, a little bigger, more different than what you would imagine in our world. And yeah, they have a call and response with their ravens. They're just a little generally creepy. So a note, they're not as large in number as Raven Sisters, but that's something to Blackwings. They are not great, or Repenters, they're called sometimes. So yeah, that's a little bit about, that's probably all I'll say about that, just so I don't overload you guys with info, and if it comes up relevant to the world, we can go over it.
And you said that the temple, like if there's anything that I want to play with, that I can.
Yes, please. Yeah, give it to me.
Is there possibly, because this would actually be useful for Jody too if the Kenku was chosen, paladins or war, the equivalent of like Templar for the Ravens Church. Is that a thing? Do they have like a Templar equivalent? What are their paladins like? Because while I'm not a paladin by class, I am sort of a warrior defender of the church.
The Raven Sisters are more like witch doctors in that way. They're not quite warrior figures, but there are rumors of figures like Esu in the past who were more like warrior maidens that were known to subjugate those who attempted to defile the Raven, etc. So we could go into that a little bit more if you have any ideas of it. I don't have any content written about a Templar in the Raven Church, but I think it would be really cool to include some because they would naturally have a response to people like Blackwings and the Rust Brothers. So please let me know if you have any ideas.
Something called like the Talons.
Yeah.
A Talon of the Raven.
That's a great thing to talk about too, because we could also talk about the guard of the city after this as well for Lorelei, because I know that Lorelei spent some time guarding the city, so that would be a really cool conversation.
I want to hear about. I want to hear about.
Yeah, I want to hear about Nova and Lorelei now too. So
can I show? I just went and got the art piece that I sent you. So for context, I had thought of these two characters obviously like a couple weeks ago. But then this weekend we had like an art festival. Well, it goes for like 10 days in Pittsburgh, where like artists come from all over the country and they like sell all kinds of cool stuff. And at the very last booth, in the very last row that my friend and I almost didn't walk down, there was this artist who did these like weird, like surreal animal paintings. And I thought to myself, I was like, what if he had a jackalope? And I flipped to the next thing, and this crystal covered jackalope. So crystals for Gem and jackalopes for Lorelei. It literally like the two big themes for both of the characters that I thought of were like painted on here. So I was like, I have to buy this. But like that's kind of like, I just thought it was a weird
amazing.
That's sign.
Like, what a weird. It's such a weird sign. It's got both of them in it. I love it so much.
But
it's awesome.
I got that because you were like saying how like, oh, ravens are a bit bigger. Actually, all animals are a bit bigger. I was like, let me get my jackalope painting.
Oh, it's so good. I love it so much. I'm looking at about a lot of really great monster bases they have in here as well that I'm going to be... I actually already wrote down a couple notes of who I'm going to be referencing them to.
I want to hear about Nova because Christy goes so deep in her characters.
No,
I want to know.
No.
I want to hear. I want to hear. I want to know what Kalashtar because the original character I played in Brave was a Aurora was a Kalashtar.
Oh, really?
We didn't really explore. Yeah,
we
didn't explore it a lot,
Kingdom
but
Hearts
I was
3 Inc. You can't blame me for not knowing that. I was a little busy.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, no, the original character I played in this world was a Kalashtar. So I was like, I like talked with Danica like a little bit because it was a one shot. But so I'm like, okay, there's other Kalashtar. So I'm like, Christy, you can't just sit there and look cute and amazing and perfect like you always do. You gotta talk. Talk to me.
But it's fine. I don't need to tell you anything. It's fine.
Oh yeah. So me and Christy have have had conversations about this, and we're very excited about this character. Some things she'll be able to talk about, some things she might not be able to, which will be instead more slowly revealed. But if you'd like Christy to talk about whatever you'd like
I can get
tonight.
into the subclass because the fact that we're doing this is really exciting.
But yeah, I want to hear about the subclass.
Okay, so the subclass is called a thought thief.
Oh, stealing them thoughties.
Thought thief. Okay, so I'll read. Let's see. The thought thief trains in psychic arts, skilled borrowed from mystics and psionic monks, because technically, like Kalashtar, their perfect thing is like the mystic.
Like psionics.
Right, psionics and mystic. But I'm like, as much as I would love to play a Mystic, because, Mystic Water, vain as fuck, but it looks super complicated as a class, so I was like, can I find
Yeah, they're a little
else?
broken.
They're
Yeah, I've heard lots of bad things about them, but, like, I would want to, like, fix it if I were to play it to, like, work. But instead I found this, where it's, like, focusing on, like, the psychic and mystic arts for deadly, like, psychic assassins, almost. So instead of stealing things, which she does, she steals purple things, not money, but she can steal thoughts and skills from others as she goes forward.
That is cool.
It's really cool. It's really cool. I'm so excited
for my
about this
sneak
character.
attack, I can use that as psychic damage instead of physical damage. When I hit 3rd level, I can start stealing thoughts from others, beginning with long-held talents and skills. As an action on your turn, you can touch a creature, which must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save for up to 24 hours, or until you use this ability again, the creature loses proficiency with one skill of your choice, and you gain that proficiency.
It's pretty cool.
So would that be a skill as in, like, you could gain perception, or would it be a skill like you could learn an instrument or a tool?
Right. So if you guys have something that you're like, no, she needs to sneak in and do this thing that she doesn't know how to do, you can give up your skill proficiency to me for until I use it, or for 24 hours, and then you get it back.
So it fizzles after use?
Yeah, it fizzles after use.
Okay.
That's really cool.
So
It's
It's
really
kind of
fun.
it's kind of like in the moment when you do it, you like almost like have like a flashback to like us doing it, and you do it.
Yeah,
and then it's gone.
it feels. I am so excited for this character, Chris. You've given me, like, as a DM, one of my favorite things in characters, and just visualizing things in general. I love things about mind palaces. I love things about thoughts and, like, something of your mind, like however you imagine your or mind palace to be. Christy, for Nova, would be great to have some sort of manifestation of that thing, of that world, come out of you and go into someone else. And that I would love to be able to kind of narrate what your guys' heads look like, which would be so cool. So if you guys, and that's actually going to be kind of fun and really cool for Nova to be able to jump into your guys' dreams. It's like another level of role
That's another
play.
thing we did with custom background. She has the feature astral projection, which means as long as you're willing, consent is needed, she can go into anyone's dreams.
I feel like that would be open up a good opportunity for, like, connection from, like, because I'm pretty set on doing Lorelai for like my gnome to be connected with Nova, because she's like hardcore refusing to believe that, like, the most important person in her life is, like, gone and is, like, searching for, like, solutions to, like, get him back. And I feel like that would be, like, the kind of thing that she would go and do. Because, like, I don't know, I want to think of more ways to be connected to everybody's characters. I want to think of more ways to be connected to this, like, world that Danica made, because Danica just talked about all those gods, and I descended into, like, ASMR, like, Tingle Central every time Danica, like, talks about stuff. I'm just like, so satisfying. I want to feel, like, more, like, connected to, like, stuff.
There's I've incorporated it in the past. I've talked about it how Monster of the Week does it, where they actually have, like, a list of questions / situations, and you present them. So you do some. It's like really good for doing round table stuff. But, like, for example, it's like, your character, Lorelai told Nova a secret when they were younger. What was it, and did Nova keep the secret? It's like little character building moments like that.
Here's the thing with Nova,
which are
too,
really, really
is
good.
she might find secrets that you don't even know is a secret, because she's going into your subconscious, and she interprets things much differently than a normal person would, because she goes into, like, what do dreams mean? Like, it's not a literal translation. She goes deeper.
Yeah, like when people have dreams about their teeth falling out, it's not because their teeth are going to fall out. It's because of, like, something else.
Yeah, so if she sees something like that in you, she's going to be like, well, I don't know what exactly it's about, but I have enough feeling of what it could be connected to.
And I would love, this will be something that, this is like as a DM, I'm going to be grabbing things, like, especially if you guys message me tropes, or if I already know things about, I have a pretty good sense of, from DMing Christy before, and then also playing with Christy and just talking to Christy, I know kind of stuff that she likes, and as a DM, there's a lot of fun I can see in a lot of these things. So that might be my pet project where I message you guys individually occasionally, just every so often, to be like, what are they thinking about right now? What are some interesting things that you feel like dreams would translate to? What they're thinking about right now? And I would do that with you guys individually, so that if Nova ever jumped into your dreams, or if something happened, that I would be able to narrate something really fun for all of us. That would be
I think it
awesome.
would be really interesting too, because I know that Dylan talked a little bit earlier about the potential for, if it's this whole like somebody put their soul into this like robot, basically.
That's exactly.
They don't sleep.
Because
They
Yeah.
don't sleep.
I don't
doesn't
dream.
matter.
I don't
The
dream either.
potential,
But you could.
Trust me. I
But you
thought
could
that
go
the moment
into-
you said soul.
Yeah.
You
I
could
was
go.
like,
the
You
soul,
could
'cause
go
that's
into
how
my
she-
past life, in which case you would
That's
see
how
stuff
Nova-
from before the
exactly.
war.
That's exactly, because that's
Before
how
You would have
Nova
seen
looks
the old world.
That's how Nova looks at dreams and the soul connection to dreams. Like that, I've purposely put it that dreams are the connection to the soul. So
I love-
she's like feeling really frustrated that she can't look at her own soul. She only has the Kalistar spirit that she can see.
Me
So
neither.
she's gonna be
'Cause
like,
I
"You're the
can't
perfect
sleep either."
example. If I can get into your head, maybe I can get into mine."
So cute.
I think
It's just that I
Yeah.
don't feel anything.
Yeah, especially with as well, because if you talked about how like there's the potential that you might start to feel things, or like things might start
Right.
coming out more.
Yeah.
There's that connection that you could have with Christy's character. I think also, just on a different side note with V's character, I had a train of thought. Oh, my character is kind of like, her personality, she wants to help as many people as she possibly can, and she tries to find those deep connections with those people in order to do so. Dylan, very much like Marlena in the game last session, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Marlena. Oh,
He's like,
she's so. Ooh. What a good
She-
NPC.
would attempt to like connect with those that are like in her temple at the very least, with those that are grieving, those that need counseling, those that need to sit down and just have that person to speak with and to talk to. So I'm really going to be like bumping things like insight for her. So that could also be a potential connection with Lorelai and Esu, because she could potentially see those things in you and that grief in you and make a connection with you from there.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, Nova and Esu are her counselors.
Oh.
Well, because this is the thing that like your characters would probably know, is that like she, like, I guess they would have gotten married young and had like a child young, but the child is still like under 7, like probably hasn't been put into.
Oh, you got a kid.
Yeah.
She got a baby.
So, I have names for I don't know what gender the child is, but the child has a name, the husband has a name, the jackalope has a name. And
I didn't even think about you having a family.
yeah,
I
Oh, no.
love
like
it. We're gonna
she
get
was
to-
like living
we're
on
about-
this
we're gonna
family
jump into-
farm, and like yeah, and then they went on this, like, there was this big, like, not like a big scouting mission, but it was like a couple different people, they all went bad, and she kind of abandoned her kid with like her in-laws, and like stopped. So like I guess people, I would think that people would see her as like this kind of like errant mother, like because she's so hyper focused on finding Juniper, that's her husband, that like she kind of abandoned her whole family. And so like that's a thing that like particularly like the insightful like cleric, like, you know, with Esu, and like with the dreams with Nova, like that's something that you guys probably would have like heard. Like she just like basically like fucked off from her like young child.
Because when you were talking earlier too, I was thinking that there was the potential for, I know that Danica said that we've kind of separated since our cluster, but there's the potential for a friendship to have remained and to not have
absolutely.
been completely separated.
You guys could be really close. So I wanted to give
Yeah.
you guys the opportunity to have gone elsewhere, to come back to Hearthome, if you wanted to, or you could live your whole life here and around here.
I
Which
go
is what
wherever
most-
Lady Esu goes.
Most people have done
Nova
that.
goes
They
fucking
stay
everywhere.
here,
But I think it
unless
would
they're
be
maybe like Nova.
kind of interesting for us to kind of have been friends up until this traumatic and like sad thing happened to you, and then you completely fucked off until this moment.
Oh, and you.
Ooh.
kind of are the reason why we kind of stopped talking.
Or at least stop talking, because like she.
Well, that makes it sound like it's your fault. But I
Right,
mean, like, you leaving was the beginning of the drifting apart.
Wait, who leaving?
So
Me
not-
leaving?
You.
I was
being
kind of
upset.
thinking.
Yeah, well,
like,
because I mean, she kind of left. Like, one, she went on this trip. But before that, I kind of like saw her as like she was like living her own life, like trying to like support a family, and like gave up the work that she was doing as like a guard.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, I feel like she kind of would have come back like kind of a different person.
Yeah, that's
And
were you thinking that? Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, well, like almost like trying to do like a life reset and going back to before the family or anything happened, because she's not like a sad person. Like, she's not grieving. She 100% believes that her husband is still alive and well. Like, and anybody who's like, honey, he's dead. She's like, nah, he's like out, like he can't be dead. Like, he's fine. Like,
Possibility of survival is less than 1%.
no,
He's
still
good.
there. He's fine.
I have some news for you, Lorelai. The first stage of grief is denial.
Oh yeah, she's in like some like very, very deep denial. But like
Victoria's like, wait till I hit level 3 and he comes out of the woods and I ride it and it's good.
well no, so she still has the rabbit, like she still has the jackalope, but I just don't get
that's right.
like yeah, I just don't get like the special like riding bonus things like until level 3. But I mean, provided
you
the
can
Danica's
ride 'em.
okay with it, I
You
can
can
still
ride 'em out
technically
at
ride them
level
out.
1.
Of course, of
Yeah.
course you can. Absolutely.
I don't know if I can. I'm kind of.
Well, probably not
They're
a
heavy.
I have
jackalope,
to-
because they're
I have
probably
to-
only like 4 feet tall and you're like 7
Yeah.
feet tall.
I have long legs and I don't get tired.
So here was the thing. Here was like a question that I had, like something that seems like it might have more like utility in this world is like, the one thing is like, you never see people do animal handling checks and stuff like that, or like different like nature and survival checks that are based on just like simple things of like surviving. And I feel like this is like a good game for it. Like, I want to be able to like go, because forest gnomes can go and like talk to tiny creatures, and I just want to go talk to tiny creatures.
Oh, you're gonna have. Oh, that's so fun, because there are so many options for really interesting creatures in this world.
Because that was
That's
what I
gonna be
had
really
thought
cool.
that she was like a rabbit farmer, like, and they farmed them for like their angora. No. They like had like
I love it. That's my
they had,
sound
like-
of
okay,
a rabbit
like
farmer.
a little angora
so
like
cute.
rabbit farm. But like they grew like crops too. But that was like their thing. Was like they had like rabbits that they would kill them for food, but they would also like have
Also,
their wool.
friends. Yeah, I
But
love
like
that.
yeah, but then they just like found this big fucking jackalope, and it used to be like her husband's like main friend, and
Main get around. Yeah, I love it. I love
Did
it
you
so
just
much.
whip
I've been whipping
her main her main friend?
this entire night.
Whoa.
Awesome. I love that. I think there's a lot of possibilities. And I also think the idea that Lorelai was a guard could be really interesting, because
Oh, yeah.
from what Jody's told me of, well, it's one super idolized in this community to be a part of the guard. And like that's super noble and super respectable, and people would like you quite a lot, and know your name, say hello to you, that kind of stuff. And I think the same might be said. I know what Jody's told me of her Kenku Paladin. He's very I want to be good, I want to be a hero, I want to be like, so I think we'll have to talk with Jody about it if she wants to confirm with that. But I think that would be interesting connection between her character, if she goes to Kenku, and you, would that they could both be on the guard together. Would be
Yeah,
really
that would
interesting.
make the fact that you kind of tried to reset a little more interesting too, because
Yeah, it would like make it murky, because people would be like, "Oh, she's a guard, but she's also like, what are you doing?"
yeah,
Yeah.
it would
like,
make
"What are you
for a lot of interesting.
Oh, yeah, I'll get it.
romances
You're good.
with NPCs.
Well, yeah, and it's like, do you keep the guard job when you started
Yeah.
a family?
Well,
Or did you,
that's like the thing that I thought
Yeah.
is that she like
Stopped.
she was a guard, she stopped
She
to like raise the
left.
family, but then like the husband was like kind of like a scout, and like he was kind of the one like hunting and like going out, and like was still kind of doing not so much like guard stuff but more like scout stuff. He decided to join this scouting trip, and she was like, I'm not gonna let you go alone, I know how to fight. So she went, and then it went haywire, and then when she came back, essentially like trying to just like in her mind, she's mentally trying to like rewind before everything happened. So like she probably would have gone back to being a guard or a scout just because like she needed something to do that wasn't living at home, like homesteading.
Yeah.
Because like she can't like, you know, obviously there's that like little part of her that like every time she sees Peregrine, she's like reminded of like this person that she doesn't want to admit is gone and like refuses to believe is gone. So she probably went back to being a guard. Because she would want as many opportunities as possible to leave the city and try to like find him.
I like that a lot.
I think that might be a really big draw for when Rom kind of brings you guys together to ask you to. It's kind of like a community. It's kind of like a militia or like a guard. It's like, oh, he knows your skill set. The city knows your skill set. All of the clusters are kept on record. And when something seems particularly within your wheelhouse, they will ask that cluster if they are competent, all alive, healthy, etc., to go out and do basically an active community service for a reward. And Rom has contacted you guys with that request to go out and deal with this particular daemon activity. So that would be a really great tie-in for Lorelai to be like, well, yeah, I love that. Daemon activity, husband, connection. So that could be something if you wanted it to be that way.
Yeah.
But yeah. I was thinking about Nova as well. Because I really want to do before we play. It'll probably be like
I would talk like this.
Yes.
Oh, so this is a voice editor.
Sorry, I was testing it.
Oh, I love it. This is a voice editor that Ink found.
Sorry, I was testing it, so I turned off my thing so I wouldn't bother anybody, but I forgot to mute myself for.
That's okay.
Interrupt.
That's awesome.
I have
Cool.
I have a similar thing, Ink. I know exactly what you're using. I love it.
I love that. One thing I was thinking about was, so Nova is like a kind of like a gypsy, almost in this world. So people kind of, and you feel free to disagree if you think of something that you kind of want to specify that, Christy, if you feel like it's more one way or another. Because I was thinking how magic. You guys are all a pack of weirdos because you guys actually have like a pretty good bit of magic in your group. Most people are quite afraid of it. They don't understand it, but they respect it in some ways. Sometimes people are extremely afraid of it and will turn away from it. Like anyone who follows Rust or Heme, they're like, nope, fuck that, fuck magic, no, that's totally messed with the world.
We put all the scary magic kids in one group.
Yeah, they put the scary magic kids into one group, and they were like, let's put this happy gnome in the middle, and they maybe put Lorelai in the middle of them to be like, hi.
Some semblance of normality.
Yeah. She'll help him out a little bit, maybe. Or if you have any canon of what Lorelai was like as a kid, that would be really cool too, Victoria. If you have any ideas for that. Maybe she was troublemaker. Maybe she was really good. Maybe she was. I wanted to mention this might help actually. Or Victoria, if you have any ideas right off the bat, I have something that might help everybody. If you don't at the moment.
What were you saying about Nova, one way or the other?
With Nova's magic, I think it's interesting because she would be definitely perceived as this kind of like how tarot card readers or psychics are viewed now, of like it's kind of similar, even though it's very far post-apocalyptic, even though there's that mix of people who are like, you're funny. There's lots of people who fake having magic for like money or tricks, and maybe some people who you travel with do that, but maybe some do not. maybe this is just natural for you, but obviously this is authentic for you. And some people may be going in like a what's it called? Not a suspicion. What's it called? A skeptic.
Skeptical.
They come in skeptics, and you make them believers.
Because they're like, oh, it's a cult
is.
mumbo jumbo. But like Nova's
fun.
magic seems a little like Nova's magic is a little different from like like the clerical magic is like
mine's
one
more
thing,
like
and then a
class
potential
magic.
wizard is like another very different thing. But like the Kalashtar with like the thought thief thing is very like. It's like it's magic, but it's like almost not. Like there's like a weird like psychic like thing.
Biology to it almost.
Yeah,
There's something
almost innate.
Yeah, there's
Rather than-
something
Like a
innate.
third eye, like the third eye thing. Like with the reason why I chose purple is purple has really high significance in dreams. It kind of like represents like the third eye, like psychic abilities in general.
That's awesome.
So
yeah,
I feel like
it's definitely like that.
Yeah, isn't that the color for your crown chakra or whatever the top one is?
That's the crown chakra. Like so, like going into the chakras, it's the purple chakra, and that's also why like she's got like the runic tattoos and they're purple, and I'm using it as like that's the Kalashtar spirit showing itself on her body. So
Yeah,
because
I love
of the Kalashtar's nature of the psychic and stuff, she's just automatically as a Kalashtar quirk drawn to the color purple.
I love it. I love it so much.
I do too.
It's so fun. I think that'll be really fun to role play. Like, it's gonna be great. I actually found in the Forbidden Lands guide, they have a couple really great helpful ideas if you guys were thinking about what you guys were like as kids. There's some backstories in here that are really useful and helpful if you guys want some skill pluses and etc. So there's like, for example, orphaned, you get kind of a plus to things like survival, sleight of hand, herder, which is kind of funny with rabbits, if that's something that you wanted to do. You kind of get these pluses to animal handling, things more crafting and scouting abilities. Vagabond, you and your family traveled from village to village. You get things in more of navigational stuff, survival, insight. Squire, this is very fitting with Kenku warrior that Jody was thinking of. There's a laborer, you work on a farm. Hard studies, someone learned took you under their wing and taught you how to do things their way, kind of like a pupil. You could be born in the saddle. You've always had kind of that kinship with animals. A dreamer. You've always dreamed of gods, myths, legends. You kind of get these pluses to things like arcana, things like performance, all that stuff. Strongest of the clan. You're just bigger than everyone else since you were born. Taught by a wise woman. Hunter. Child of the winds. You could be chosen by a god, or child of the raven, which I think is really fitting. Mm-hmm. You grew up among the Raven Sisters and learned to venerate the Raven God. You learned to fear the Rest Brothers and to live off the land. It is in the wind that you feel the most free. You get a lot of pluses to things like history or arcana or religion or insight.
That sounds perfect, to be honest.
It sounds awesome for that character,
exactly.
for Esu. So we can, I'll link you to that. Druid's apprentice, a guardian. You can be help the people that are oppressed and hunted by daemons. You're trained to protect people with sword and shield. Could be a cool one if you wanted to go more of the guard route with Lorelei. Wanderer, you have no fixed place. Your life is always on the move. You've seen more land than most. That would really fit with Nova. Laborer, a herder, on the run. That also is something really interesting. On the run, you've always been on the run from something, never felt quite safe. But you've seen a lot of the land from village to village. Artist, student, acrobat, fighter, ghost child. What's that? You grew up without a real family at home. Instead, you sought out other youths who may have run away or been cast out. You are called ghost children and lived by stealing and performing odd jobs. I love that. I'm going to use that for something. Baker's apprentice, laborer, craftsman, raised in the kitchen, bookworm, loner, child of the woods, a wolfling. Oh, you were found by a wolf pack and you were raised by wolves. That's so cute. If anyone's interested in that, let me know.
Changing my character right now. Let's do it.
Let's do it. A storyteller, as a wee goblin, you sat by the fire, or whatever monstrous race you are, you sat by the fire with eyes like saucers, listening to legends of your people, being told by a clan elder, people like Rom, a shepherd, or something like that. A wildling, a minstrel, a worker, a brigand, a drifter, a warrior, a loner, a howler, a hunter, an outcast, a tracker, a fighter. All sorts of really interesting Smith's Apprentice. I can link this. I'll take pictures of this if anyone wants any references. There's a lot of great stuff in here. They also have things like formative events, things that happened when you were a child that kind of shaped you when you were... They have 2 statuses in this campaign module, like young and adult. Mm-hmm. You can pick like a formative event when you're young and then one when you're adult. So they have things like failed experiment, captured, bloody battle, long march, tamed a mount, won an archery competition, hunted for a lord, studied with a master, protected the forest, unexpected find, caravan, cheated, smuggler, ran a shop, enlisted, etc. Go for it.
I have a question.
Please. Yeah.
In our 20 to 30-ish years of being alive, has the city has this community itself undergone any particular great tragedy? Have we been... Did we have was there a time in history when we were maybe younger where like daemons almost overtook the city? Or anything like that? I'm basically, because even though I was like baby mentality, I've always been in a body. Right. So if there was an attack, then I would have probably fought, even though I would be the equivalent of like a few years old.
It seems like the daemons work in waves, and it seems like every 5 to 10 years they communicate with some daemons seem incredibly stupid. They are
is this like Darkspawn?
Primal Darkspawn, as in
like Dragon Age, like how there will be like sudden
Danica never knows the
Dragon Age references. I've played like 10 hours of Dragon Age by Jody's insistence, so I have played a little bit. So I do know who you're talking about now that you've mentioned it. But yes, a little like that, where some seem very primal, animalistic, and then there's some they're like they walk on 4s or 6 or weird amounts. You people don't really even know what the typical look of them is, because they seem to vary in shape and expression so much. Some of them have a mini teeth, no eyes. Like there's just no
bipedal, quadrupedal. They're like very diverse.
They're very diverse in shapes and sizes. Just the similarity that they eat flesh, and that's their drive.
What happens when you kill them? Do they like fade away, or do they leave bodies like anything else?
They leave bodies like what most other things you'd see. Yeah, but they almost putrefy. They don't decay like a normal living creature.
Do they like sludge?
Do they leave like a tainted like rot, like wherever they fall, like land, like grass won't grow there or something?
It's like a rot. Yeah, things will eventually, life will return, but it's almost parasitic. And then you have basically from these, people have seen occasionally, and this is through stillness, so it's not really clear often, but people have sometimes seen daemons walking on 2 legs.
Wait, you went robot, what did you say?
Oh, that's okay. Sometimes people will see, usually they are on 4, 6, 8, a weird amalgamation of arms and legs, but occasionally people will see daemons on 2 legs.
But like only through the stillness, they've never seen them up close?
Most people don't live when they see a daemon, so even that people know what they look like in general, or stories of them, is unusual. It's like you were in a hunting pack, or you were in a scouting pack, like Lorelai was with her husband. That's a pack of people that are meant to survive an encounter, but it's like, let me make it clear very quickly, because elders and storytellers and orators would tell you this, like, people don't survive when they encounter daemons usually, like especially common people. A common farmer would die like very easily and quickly because they would not have any sort of defenses to weather against a daemon. So that's why protectors of the town and cities, etc., are really important. And for like Nova, who travels often, it makes a lot of sense why Nova has the ability to be extremely stealthy, to be a rogue. I thought Thief would have an ability to.
Travelers would have to be like really smart and.
I really didn't want to be a typical rogue because you know me, I'm not a fan of rogues in general. So I'm like, can I just be a different type of rogue?
This is fun.
So
no, this is an interesting rogue.
Yeah, I think so too. It's gonna be really fun. And I should tell you, I'll probably give you I feel like, and I don't know this for sure, we might want to wait to see what this is like if you want to role play it. I don't know, has Nova ever tried to like slice the mind or like psionically of a daemon before? What do you think?
Ooh.
Yeah,
and
like does Nova know like if she's going up to someone and is gonna do like the skill stealing thing, can she just say like I steal a skill from some random enemy that she doesn't necessarily know what their proficiencies are? Or does she have to know what the proficiencies are? Like could she go up to some rando and be like, boop?
Yeah, I think like once they fail the wisdom save, she'll know what they're proficient in, and then she gets to choose which one they're out of the proficiency she gets to choose. But
to psychically link to a
they would have to fail the save in order for her to even know what they got.
And you have to touch them, so you would have had to touch a daemon.
Yeah, you'd have to touch.
I can also do it with sneak attack though.
Ooh.
Once I hit 3rd level, I can do it as an action without using an action as part of the sneak attack. I can choose to use that ability.
So then it becomes ranged.
So then it becomes ranged. But that's it.
That's awesome. So maybe she doesn't know yet.
But since we're at level 1, you haven't like touched them.
No.
Yeah, would you have touched one?
At 1st level?
Or are you like that? No.
Or before 1st level? Nah.
You're like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if they've attacked, I feel like they would have tried using me against them because I'm literally like a living weapon.
Tall.
I'm literally made of metal and am designed to fight.
Probably,
but the only thing is I've been kind of put into the guardian role. But yeah, no, would the city have ever tried to weaponize me?
Say that one more time.
Would the city have ever tried to weaponize me because I'm literally a man made of metal designed to fight?
Seems like it's designed to fight. Yeah. So you would definitely be, there's a couple different types of Warforged that are made or retrieved. You would be in the class of, it sounds like you'd like to be in the class of more combat oriented Warforged.
Yeah, when I was
kind of
looking
like
at
a racial subclass.
When I was looking at the subclasses in D&D Beyond, I picked Juggernaut.
Oh yeah, the thick boy.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. 1 second, my mom's calling me.
That's interesting. Yeah, because like Juggernaut is like really cool for like tanky stuff, and then there's like the tool proficiency one, and then there's like the scouting one. I was thinking of the scouting one for if I was gonna do my Warforged, but you know, I'm just gonna wait until tomorrow.
Say that again, Victoria. What about your? Oh, you're gonna wait for your Warforged.
I'm gonna, my Warforged is gonna remain wish backup for when Ink decides that he's bored with Temerity and kills her.
Kills her off.
Yeah.
When Temerity's backstory shows up too early and kills her.
I'm like, oh.
That's pretty funny.
Let me see. Let me read you. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So the official talk of what a juggernaut is.
Yeah.
You're an imposing war machine built for close combat and raw might. You tower over comrades. Juggernaut Warforged stand between 6 and 7 feet in height and can weigh up to 450 pounds. I get it. Basically, it gives me the powerful build feature, which doubles my carrying capacity. It gives me my strength. It gives me a +2 in strength, and it makes my fists. It makes my unarmed strikes 1d4 plus strength because I just have bludgeoning metal hands.
That's awesome. I love it.
So yeah, very much, because they have the 3 official ones. There's Envoy, which are Warforged that were built for specific tasks.
They're the tool set one.
That's really
they have
fitting.
tools. They have tools and skills. There's Juggernaut, which is the war machine, and then there's Skirmisher, which is the dexterity scout.
Yeah, Skirmisher was what I was gonna make gem.
That's yeah, I think those are all really I'm probably gonna grab those and you guys will see them. And so this is something I wanted to tell you guys about. There are a lot of inventors, or what would be more like an artificer, just with less magic. Things like that are pretty common, or people like that are pretty common in Hearthhome, because it's very useful to have those people around. So some jobs in Hearthhome is artificer, shepherd, navigator, messenger, lightkeeper, record keeper, orator, or also known as a keeper of tales, a hunter, a leather worker, carpenter, healer, merchant, craftsperson, beast tamer. Stuff like that are pretty common.
What is our like technological advancement looking like?
Level like? Yeah. So it's this weird amalgamation between semblances of old technology. In Hearthhome, it's a little more common than places to the south that you would hear this vaguely from growing up. You guys use a little more technology than other places do, partially because it's cold up here. It's a snowy climate, only weathered by hot springs occasionally that pop up, and then the warmer seasons. But you guys use a little more technology because survival's a little more of the focus. Kind of like how when you have like Southern California, we're a little free to be more like just a little more relaxed in some areas because of the amount of daylight time or hot zones of the year. But say in like Michigan, you're gonna have more cold zones and more people preparing for that. So survival is a little more important up here. So there's a little bit more old ones technology. So things like crossbows that are powered by more of like a what are they called? When you go shooting recurve bows or whatever they're called.
Recurve bows? Yeah, they have
stuff like
pulley system integrated into it.
Yeah, things like that. Basic technology like that, where it's somewhere between I could probably cite a year for you, but kind of in that renaissance-y phase of like things are being invented constantly.
They're doing.
So we're not so much Stone Age or Bronze Age, but we're getting more into like iron. We have infrastructure.
Mix. Yes, there's
but
infrastructure.
It's not like we made all of it. It's like half of this shit was here, and then we don't know what it actually is. So
yes.
Yeah.
Your intelligence level is like medieval age intelligence level, with the infrastructure seemingly left over from something far more advanced than you. So you're just kind
advanced
of grasping. Yeah, you're kind of grasping
that opens up something, because something that I was going to talk about, because I like, me, Danica, I say it all the time, I just like to look cool.
Sure. I like to look cool too. Everyone likes to look cool.
But
love it.
Something I really love in the game Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Is all of the weapons in that game are called they're transformative weapons. They each have 2 forms.
Yeah.
And the lore behind that is that the hunters that hunt the beasts, it's a very similar sort of situation.
Yeah. I'm gonna look at
to
Bloodborne.
be able to be they need to be able to be able to adapt in a combat situation. So there's a lot of, say, there's a weapon that it's sort of like they call it a saw cleaver. So it's like it works like a short sword, but then you flip a switch and it unfolds and it extends the reach out to it. So like I imagine if we were fighting similar monsters, we have you have short swords that extend and become spears, or Bloodborne has some really creative ones. Two in particular, there's a sword and there's a hammer, a sort of like maul, but they both have a long sword. And what happens is for the sword version of it, the sheath of the sword, the scabbard, is actually a large blade in itself. And when you sheath the sword, you can kind of you can lock it in and then pull the whole thing out, and now it's a great sword.
That's cool. That's
Or
really cool. I like the flavor.
There's the long sword version, and then there were these people that would carry these what look like giant cinder block backpacks, and they would put the sword into it. The sword locks into it. The sword becomes the handle, and then it's a big maul.
That's awesome.
If you look at some of the stuff
like that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of really cool weapon design. There's a thing called a powder keg hammer or something where it has. It's a sledgehammer, but it has like a little bit of like gunpowder or something and a fuse, and they explode it when they swing. So you hit, and then it explodes, and it forces the hammer to swing harder.
Yeah, that's
there's
awesome.
a lot of really cool weapon design that I feel like maybe those inventors
could be really helpful. Thank you. I love that.
That would actually be super useful, because I was thinking of using a lance, obviously, for like mounted combat is super useful. But
that's something that can turn into...
Yeah, with a lance, you get disadvantage if you're within 5 feet because it has the 10-foot reach. So if it that would be cool if it could be something else. I don't even know what the fuck is a lance. I've been to the Renaissance Fair 15 years ago.
Yep. It's really long. There's a guard for your hand, and it's meant to be used to protect you, but also have the extremely long reach so you can hit someone on a horse. Yeah. Extremely long reach for hitting a horse with the goal of not being hit.
I'm trying to think of what some of the other stuff they had. They had a rifle spear.
So Gunblade, all right. Squally and hard.
No, but there was a really cool thing called a stake driver. It was a gauntlet weapon, but it had a very, very similar gunpowder charge in it that would shoot the blade out in a punch. So you would lock it, and then it would basically shoot out and force the punch, and then the blade would extend and stab someone really, really hard.
That's really cool.
Things like that. I really liked them. Yeah.
Because that's great. Because I think all of these would be things that people would create use. It would be extremely useful for someone, say, at the guard of the city would have weapons like that. So I think that's awesome. Thank you for the reference. I will look at those because I'm always looking for cool inventions that use technology from different eras and then meshes it with old stuff, amalgamated stuff.
You can even look up GIFs or videos of how showing how they transform. So actually, the hammer that I was talking about, if you watch this little GIF, so they have the sword, they lock it in, and then
now it's a hammer. So cool!
It's very,
I love
very
it.
Cool.
It's very fitting. I love it. Okay, that's awesome. I will keep that in mind. Alrighty. I wish poor Coco I'm texting Jody right now. She was talking about she'd be interested in her Kenku being a guard. But I'm gonna leave that we'll talk about that tomorrow. It'd be fun if she was still in the convo like this though, because I would like her to have that opportunity to chat with everyone about it. But maybe if anyone has any free time to just get on a call this week before we do, or the next week if we switch off ink. But up to everybody. We can work with Jody, be on call with her a little bit would be great. So because I really would love. I know that we can't do that session 0 role play tonight without Jody here, but I'm super excited for when we do it. We can make it like a little thing at the before our main session would be really cool.
Oh man, I need to figure out voices. Ah!
I just got to put on
So-
synthesizer.
Is there like a typical dialect that is used as far as like accents are concerned, or
You know, I haven't decided on that yet. If you guys have a preference for an accent you'd like to do, you can give it to me and we can
I
kind
love
of think
using
about.
British accents, so I'm all for that.
You're for what?
British accents.
British accents? Yeah. I'm totally fine with that. We can do British accents, we can do Nordic accents, since we're in a colder climate. We can do let's see. We could do what is it? We could do Russian accents, we could do there's all sorts of stuff.
We
I can
should
switch
all
that.
talk like this.
Oh!
The auto-tune harmonic.
Painful.
There's soap everywhere.
Warforged Bard right there.
Oh, that's so cute. That's such a cute idea. I love that. Write that down.
Wow.
But yeah, let me see if there's. Okay, so do you guys want to go ahead? We can, since it seems like everyone has that preference. Do you guys want to roll stats?
Sure.
So
Frick yeah.
Hey, Danica, can you give me a character sheet on the Brave?
yeah.
No!
Because D&D Beyond doesn't like homebrew shit, so...
Oh, yeah.
Do you want something? Are you talking about on Roll20
Yeah,
on a
just on the
fillable
Roll20,
sheet?
just on
Yeah, you just have to
Standard
assign a character sheet to
Okay.
Christy.
Will do. Let me do that. Oh, our music. I totally forgot about our music. I was so involved.
If you put it on repeat,
Chat.
it'll loop it.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Do you want all of our character sheets in one place? How do you want to do that?
We have a little bit of time. I'm gonna probably ask you guys to put it somewhere. I might ask. Would I ask Matthew about possibly making a campaign area on D&D Beyond where you guys have access to everything?
We might be
So we
able to
already
do-
have
we
it?
already have one. It's just getting Chell and Jody in there.
Yeah,
cool.
we would need to talk to probably Michael about getting them linked onto it, but it's
Okay,
definitely
cool.
something an avenue we can explore.
Awesome.
But the homebrew
It's
stuff, I
not-
don't know how that would work. I think
Yeah,
you
I
can
think
create a
it might-
subclass though.
Oh, cool. It might be that I'll look into it and see if we can make a subclass. Do you guys think it'd be easier to do it on D&D Beyond so we're all updated all the time, or do you guys want to just do a fillable PDF or whatever and you give it to me and so that I have them all?
Personally,
really like
prefer
D&D.
D&D Beyond.
I'm
cool.
learning D&D Beyond. I'm liking it.
I like
Right,
D&D
I will write
Beyond,
down-
but I don't know how it's gonna work with mine. So that's,
You
I
can.
might
There's
need
definitely an option to create
To
stuff.
create
we might
your
just
own?
need to.
Mhm.
We might need to toy around with it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
I
play with
do
that,
this
Christy.
sort of thing regularly for other players, so if you need help with it, I can help out.
Okay.
We'll probably hit up.
Chell is a resource that we are very lucky and fortunate to have.
Very,
But
very
also,
excited to have.
We're lucky and fortunate to have Chell not just as a DMing resource, but just as a person.
Just a person. Just
And
in
I'm really
general.
glad that Chell is like our new like Wednesday buddy.
Me too.
Yep.
I am
I don't know
excited.
if we've announced this, but we might as well that Chell's officially
Yeah.
part of the proficiency bonus family.
Yo!
100%.
I love
Locked in.
it!
T-pose.
Wow. Dorky. I love it.
They did surgery on a grape.
Someone walk me through how you
They did
assign someone a
surgery.
character sheet. Add? Did you add one in journal? No. I see
On
my
Roll20?
library. On Roll20, I see obviously the jukebox. I see macros, decks.
Let me exit this game and I can tell you how to do it on one of my games that I have because I don't remember how to do it offhand.
Okay, that's okay. No worries.
Okay. So,
So is this homebrew race, or not race, class, is it something that you found somewhere?
Yes.
What is it called?
But we're also going to be tweaking it too, so this isn't like the official like one
Mhm.
we're going
Yeah.
with because me and Danica are going to tweak it. But
That's fair.
I'll link it
Yeah.
to you guys. Hang on.
Okay. Because D&D Beyond, somebody might have already put it in there.
Mm,
True.
Um,
that's cool too.
let's see.
I don't think it'll take too much time or anything to
it's
do that.
if you've got all the info for me, I can honestly just whip it up for you in like 45 minutes.
Oh, that's very sweet. I don't want to make you do any work though, Chell. But thank you for asking. And if I need to rely
Chell,
on you, I will.
but I like
This is
doing
what I do.
work.
If you like it, absolutely. But
I am here for
let's
you
see
if
what
you
we
need
got.
me. Is basically all I'm saying.
But that's
I-
basically the base
that's
of
so
it,
sweet. I
but
really
we have to
appreciate
change it
it.
because there's a lot of things that Kalishtar already get through this class.
Mhm.
That's fair.
Like I already get the resistance to psychic, so we might have to change like what it's gonna do instead. So
Mhm.
like there's things that overlap with my
with
race.
the
So,
race, and then
we
there are
gotta
things
figure
that we
it out.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's things that we can pull into the
Danica.
world too. Yeah.
So what you're gonna want to do is exit the game
Mhm.
and just go to like the pre-launch screen for
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Okay, and then right below the title on the right it says settings,
All right. Let me get in there.
and then click game settings.
Oh, it shows me the hours I've played.
Yep.
I just saw that. 150. Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't even ask me mine.
So do you see settings
Uh,
and then game settings?
Yep. Got it.
So click on that, and then if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see like 3 tabs down. It says access compendium in game, and then you can click on determined by character sheet
Yeah. Got it.
default, and then
D&D 5th edition.
oh yeah, character sheet template. You go down, and then you want to put in D&D 5e by Roll20.
D&D 5e by Roll20. That's there. Okay. Cool. Cool.
And I believe that's it. And you're just going to scroll all the way down and click Save Changes. And then you can go into the game. And I think from there you launch it. Sorry, I'm trying to like look at this from an old one, and I vaguely remember how to do it, but like not really.
Launch game. Just wondering where I can assign them in the game.
I think if you click on like the little newspaper, like the journal,
Add
character.
Cool.
And
Thank
then you can go into can be edited and controlled by, and type, like put in yours for like, it'll be like Danica DM, and then like, whoever you're giving it to.
Thank you. Edited and controlled by me and Christy.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
I'm a 32-year-old lady.
I'm a 32-year-old lady. How do you spell Nova's full name?
Nova Shana. Novashana.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Save. Now you have it. It is now given to you.
My cat is snoring.
Does anyone else want a sheet in Roll20?
No,
I'll just
gotta
do
change
D&D.
my. I can just change my stats after I roll them.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Roll20.
Did you give can be viewed by or just edited by?
Controlled and edited by.
Is there one that says
Yeah,
view?
there's one above it that says view by, and you want to do that with the
I need-
same
'cause I
thing of
can't
you
play
and
yet.
the player.
Oh! Name in player's journal, tags, default token. I don't see anything about viewing. There's
So in the
Name-
little
in player's journals. Oh
Yes. Yes.
gotcha. Save. There
Thank
you go.
you.
Now,
You are
Yes,
very
thank
loud
you,
all of a
thank
sudden.
yeah, I don't know. The mic jumped in volume there.
Mine?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Real loud.
Weird.
Scared the crap out of me.
Sorry.
No, you're okay.
No, it looks like it jumped on my recording too, so that's gonna be interesting.
just Christy screaming.
Screaming at everybody for a minute.
Sorry.
Alrighty.
Are we rolling 4d6?
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you guys. Something recently. I watched somebody roll, and I was talking to one of my bosses, who's awesome. I love him very much. And then he made himself cooler in my eyes because I found out that he played 2nd edition D&D for like 10 years, and I never knew that. And he told me that when he was watching people, Jody was running a one-shot, he watched everyone roll their stats. He was like, "Why are you rolling 4d6s?" And I was like, or he was like, why are you rolling? Yeah, he's like, why are you rolling 46s? I was like,
Oh, they rolled 3 down the line, didn't they?
exact. Yeah, and he was like, no, you roll 3d6 and you go down the line. And I was like, what?
I like the idea of
apparently
doing
you
that and then making a character after, but
not down the line. Just the idea of 3d6 was interesting to me. If you guys want to do it a little more daring and gritty feeling, or we could do the classic 46, drop the lowest, and do 2 sets of that individually for everyone. I don't want to do a pool that everyone pulls from. I like the variety that comes from everyone having a different pool. So we can do either a classic 46 or a 3d6 if you want to be gritty.
So I would say, yeah. Well, I was going to say, so I like 46 the most, but I know this is like a brutal world and it's already low magic. 46 leans you towards higher stats. I feel like if we want to get the scariness and really, really have to focus on working together, then
3d6.
Maybe we do 3D. Like, I don't like it as much as 46.
We'll
I would
still
like
do
to
2
make that very clear.
Why don't
pools.
we do
Two pools of
one pool
Chris-
of 4
Christy-
to 6, one
Christy-
pool of 3 to 6?
Christy, you're real loud. Real
Oh,
loud,
shit.
Christy.
It's
Oh,
okay.
your dice are like...
Sorry. I don't know why it's suddenly so loud.
That's okay. It's okay. We don't mind. Just wanted you to know. But anyways,
How's
you
that?
like... Still echoey, loudish.
Still a little
It's very
loud, yeah.
interesting.
Now.
she's not that. Her volume has not changed for me.
I'm trying to like
weird.
turn the gain, but
we can turn her down on our end. Why don't we just?
She's
Yeah.
at 1% for me and still screaming. So
Oh.
She's real loud. for
Oh,
me,
do you
yeah.
all have the audio and video disabled in Roll20 if you're in Roll20?
oh, that's what it is.
oh,
Hang on. That's my bad.
Got it. She's normal now. Well done, Victoria.
There we go.
Thank you,
Better.
Victoria.
She
This is
was-
what I was confused.
She was amplified.
So
So
before
strong.
we roll, actually, I can talk about this after we roll. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, so
Chrissy,
Chris-
you like
She said
3d6?
one pool of 3D. She
yeah,
said one pool of
36
3D6 and one pool
of
of
46.
Interesting.
And then
So then
depending how
everyone-
daring
really
you want to
pull
be.
It may really pull them extreme, because if we do 2 3d6, it'll give them like similar, but maybe one's better than the other, so you can choose. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea.
I need to get a new set of boys if I'm gonna, because these are all my temerity boys. I need the
I'm all-
Lorelei boys.
What do y'all think?
I, for the sake of being gritty, will roll 3d6 for myself, and because I will film it
Ooh.
so we can watch it happen
That'd
in
be
real
fun.
time, perhaps. You
I
can
like
look
it.
at my crotch.
That's kind of fun, actually, if everyone... Because then we can all watch and be like,
come
ah! No! Or we can be like,
Okay.
ah, yay!
Because I've got my 3, so I could of course they're orange and orange. So test roll just to see if they're readable.
Nah.
No, they're not even readable.
Cool. I'll get bigger ones. I got bigger ones. Fuck me.
Let's see what I would get right now if I rolled. Ooh, very good. I just got a 14.
I just got a 4. If I
Sick.
A 9. A 11. And with these, I'm a big believer that if something's ridiculous, like is going to destroy fun in the game, I'll bump 1 stat up and maybe 1 stat down, but usually I only go down when we roll 46 drop lows because people can get ridiculously high across the board sometimes.
Oh yeah, there should always be at least one stat that's like a negative modifier. But just
I prefer that as a DM.
Let's see if these are more visible because it's black, white, and blue, which would be sort of his palette anyway. Is that more? It's a 5, a 4, and a 2.
Yeah, I can see those.
So okay. Well, that was sample rolls. I'll do it. I'll go for it right now. I'll just
Alrighty.
I have to get dice for her before I do this.
So I hope for one high stat, or at least 2, so I can do strength and constitution. But we'll see. So these are the official rolls for he now. Well, we're starting with a 6.
Ooh!
Starting with a 6, so hopefully that's my charisma because I don't have emotions. 11.
Okay, average. A little above average.
God, watch, I'm gonna be the shittiest.
We're gonna do 2 pools.
10.
We're doing 2 pulls.
Yeah, you do 2 pools. And if these seem ridiculous to everybody, we can try a pool of 46 as well.
A 13.
Nice. It's a bit better.
Another 11. 1, 2,
Mmm.
3, 4, 5. Oof,
One more.
that's rough. And then a 12. So 6,
Gotcha.
11, 10, 13, 11, 12 is the first pool.
That sounds more like a normal person.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's
we might want to bump one up to be higher. That would be
at
good.
least making one a 14. Well, because with my +2, then I would have at least a +3 in strength.
Yeah, I think
But-
that's a good
but
idea.
But I'll see the second pool first. I'm
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
it down on here. Maybe blow on these dice. Hold on.
Blow 'em.
Okay, 11.
That looks good. Yeah.
3d6 is scary. God.
It
second edition-
is. It's just this is 3rd edition too, I think.
Another 11.
Nice.
Right?
That's
9,
better.
10, 11.
Mhm.
Ooh, okay.
Oh.
11, 12. That's a 13.
Nice.
So I'm going above average now. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
There's the 5. A 10. Oh, this is a very middle of the line person almost.
Uh-huh.
Give me 118. Nope. Another 11. So that's 11, 11, 13, 5, 10, 11.
Well, probably
Which is actually...
pretty normal of a human. Yeah, of a
they're-
person.
So 3d6
We'll bump-
gives you pretty normal people.
Yeah, we'll bump you up a stat, so that you can have put your numbers in the chat, Ink.
I'll be
Sure.
right back. I'm gonna go grab my other bag of Dicey Boys to make a set for Lorelai, and then I'll roll on camera.
Yay!
I'll list them.
I
I'll
rolled my
list them
first set.
greatest
I
to
rolled the second
lowest.
set.
Did you say, Ink?
I said I'll list them greatest to lowest.
Perfect.
So there's the first pool.
Nice. What an average fellow. Nice.
So I actually rolled pretty much the same exact thing, except one pool had 2 things that
Two
were
higher.
1 point higher.
Yeah, we can go with
I have
that
to run to the
first
bathroom
one
really
if you
quick.
want. Go for it. We can go for that first one if you want. We can just make we can make one of your stats higher. So we could do. How do you
If we-
feel?
if
Do you
you-
want to do like a 12, a 14, or something?
Oh, okay. And keep,
Or you could
and
do the
keep
13 to 14. You could
I mean, if
do-
you're okay with the 12 being a 14, I think
I
that
think
would be
that-
fine.
I think that's nice
That'll-
because then you
That'll
can
give me.
a little more variability there, and
Yeah.
when you get your ability score increase, you can put
I
those
can
up.
have a. I can have a plus, because I'll have a 16 in strength, and I think they get a +1 to Constitution, so I can have a +2
Yeah.
in Con. That's a good level 1 bard. Barb,
Yeah.
barbarian. A
Mhm.
+3 to Strength and a +2 to Constitution.
I agree.
And then the 6 will be my Charisma because I don't have emotions, which I think is
Mhm.
very
It's
uncharismatic.
fitting. Uh-huh.
This is
I
my
am
first
literally a
pool
robot.
that I did while you were doing it at the same
Ooh.
time. I haven't
Okay.
done the second one yet.
Interesting.
Okay, you got a 14.
Middling except for that 14, yeah.
Yeah.
Which means you could get like a potentially. Actually, I don't know. Kalashtar get what? Wisdom and intelligence?
Let me check.
I think so. I also, in these backstories, they give you an attribute in... They call it attribute. Basically, they give an increase to one of your ability scores, which I think is pretty
Oh, that's
cool.
cool.
So-
I like
when
the
Beth
idea-
do that.
As a
Yeah, I think
Kalashtar,
that's cool.
I get a +1 in wisdom and charisma and a +1 to anyone else or anything else.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. So
Wisdom
you
and
get a little.
charisma
Oh,
and a +1 to something else. That's awesome.
okay.
What about your second pool,
Oh, I
Christy?
haven't done that yet.
Go for it. And I probably will go with the backgrounds where they give you a +1 to a ability score, like they have in here. I think they're really cool. It's basically what was your childhood like, and it gives you that +1 to something.
I've changed that 12 to a 14, and I'm gonna readjust my stats in my pre-made character on D&D Beyond.
Yay!
It's
Okay,
going
awesome.
better. So I rolled a 9, 12, 13.
Ooh, nice.
Another 13.
Wow, that's great.
Okay.
Oh, let's do that again. It went flying. 6, 10. 11.
Ooh,
So that one's a lot better.
that one's great. Yeah.
There is one
No
negative.
negatives.
No,
Oh,
there-
just one?
Just one.
Awesome.
It was a 9.
That's pretty perfect.
So I'll put that in.
Yeah.
9,
Put that one up and we can set it.
12.
Something else, Chell, as well. I was looking at Forbidden Lands has, with these backgrounds, they can give you a +1 to an ability score, just basically your childhood, like how you grew up. And I think that's kind of fitting to kind of give some flavor to that if you guys want to do that. That would be pretty fun, I think.
Cool.
So maybe, I don't know, it'd be up to you about Esu, but it could be maybe charisma, or it could be wisdom, or it could be, maybe she liked working out in her free time, and it's strength. I don't know. It's up to you.
Okay.
What you want your background to kind of fit with, but yeah, I think that'd be kind of fun.
I think so too. That sounds really cute.
Danica,
Lower stats in this.
do you do the like situational strength-based intimidation rolls?
Yeah, I think for me, I think that strength doesn't have to be charisma for sure. I think it can definitely be strength based, or intimidation can be strength based instead of charisma based for sure. And then also, I am of the people who believe that knowledge about nature, if you are a druid, should come from your wisdom. So, but everyone else.
Hey, the home house rule that I came up with.
Do you have a link for those?
I think Matt
backgrounds
Mercer
that
uses better.
give the plus?
Yeah, I can.
Well, so they're from her book.
Oh.
They're using a different mechanic. They use attributes and instead of ability scores.
Gotcha.
But I think the general gist of them will come out from what you can see. So I will go ahead and send them.
Also, I wanted
Remind me, are we doing 3d6 or 4d6?
3d6. 2 pools of 3d6. So far, they've seemed to.
I don't know if this is gonna show on the camera or not. This is kind of hard to do.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
It is hard.
It looks like I'm not wearing pants, so it's not
That's
Oh god. Maybe.
Perfect.
My laptop is like about to shut from the weight of my camera with it half closed like this, but we'll make an attempt.
We appreciate your attempt.
There we go.
9.
Ooh,
Ooh.
I love your dice tower.
That's fun.
That's so fun.
Sorry, this is like I have to hold my laptop with one hand, so I can't.
If it's too hard, you don't have
Don't
to.
I rolled 18, guys.
Oh,
amazing!
But that's why you put the camera on.
That's amazing.
Oh shit!
Can you see this?
Yes.
Yes, we see it.
She's like, she's known for something. Whatever this is, I feel like people know that she's really good at this. Like people talk about how
I rolled a 5, a 6, and a 4. That's a 15.
Oh my God. She's gonna be stronger than me, and I'm made of metal.
Maybe you're just feeling
That's a 14.
What the heck? That's amazing.
2, 3,
Victoria.
4.
You may have to bring me down.
Oh, I will. Yeah, I will. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
This little gnome.
I need to roll one more. 11. Shit. Okay.
I love that they all just kind of come out as a little unit.
Yeah, it's fun. See, I chose like an orange one because she has red hair, and the brown one for the bunny, and then the green one for like plants and the forest.
I love that she has a red hair. That's
Yeah,
so cute.
I imagine her with like a Chelsea haircut, like that, like the '80s like British skinhead girls would have, where it's like the bangs
Aw.
in the front, but then the whole back is shaved.
That's so fun. Oh my god.
Okay,
You
here
hear
I'm
that,
gonna.
Chell? He's skinhead girl.
I mean, my hair is so well, and I've got like a
Oh.
mohawk.
And I'm shaved as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I need.
Hey, I just shaved it this morning. I'm
Oh.
noticing a lot of ladies in Burbank getting this haircut.
Oh, it's hot because it's hot.
It's
Is starting equipment just gonna be starting equipment, or can we kind of like?
We can flavor this a little more. Yeah, we can talk
Oh, my
it through.
second pool is so much better than my first one.
Because I was.
Ooh,
'cause
see,
I was
I'm in the
gonna-
opposite. My second pool is trash. I rolled
'Cause
a
I was
10, an
gonna
8, and
say-
11, and a 7.
Both of mine were right down the middle. I was gonna say because the barbarian starting equipment. I don't think I would have a bunch of javelins, but I think I would definitely have a shield. Because
Yeah,
I mean,
that's appropriate. I think for sure.
okay. Thank you. I'm gonna get some shields. I always
gonna
forget
be a
that
stickler.
barbarians have shield proficiency.
Oh,
yeah, you don't usually see that. That's an unusual.
They
You
know-
get,
normally
yeah,
go
get,
with
like,
the
a little arm
two-handers.
buckler.
I'm just gonna send a picture of what I wrote down. That's just easier for my fingers.
I'm
That's
gonna
no problem.
take my.
First 5.
Oh,
Here's some. Oh, hello. Cute.
Oh wow! Oh look at that! There's
Look
215.
at that
Ooh.
second pool.
That's
yeah, my second pool was really good.
Damn!
That's
I
good.
kind of just I just kind of got really average, huh?
Do you want to roll once more?
No. I was the
you-
one that's like, let's do 3d6. So.
Uh-huh. Do you want to what do you think, Chell, about grabbing one of those and putting them to a negative? What do you think about that? Or do you want to
Absolutely.
keep them just
No,
as they are?
100%.
Yeah. You like it?
You can
Okay.
make it like a 9 or an 8 if you want. I'm all for it.
Do you want to pull Oh, I don't
What
want to
would
be
your
mean,
negative?
'cause you,
What would
you
her
got-
negative be in?
I got
She's so perfect.
I know.
I see a 14, a 15, and a 15. Do you want to pull one of those two negative? So you have 2 high and
Yeah.
1 low, and then 3 in
I'm
the
all
middle?
for it.
Okay, let's. Oh, it
Up
feels
to
so
you which one.
horrible. Let's make the 15.
Okay.
Do you want to make it an 8?
Sure.
Okay. I think that'll even you out, and it'll give you nice well-roundedness to it. Victoria's second. I see. Yep, I see.
The
It's
second
more
was, like,
average.
The second was either average or negative.
Negative. Yeah.
So the way that I always think about it, that
Mhm.
Mark Humes had, I don't know if he came up with this or what, but it's that he will usually add up all the modifiers, and if it's less than a +3, then he lets his players take standard array, because like people want to like feel, you know, like kind of special.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh yeah, then
feel-
I'm right at +3 because I have 3 zeros, a +2, a -2, and then a +3.
The
yeah.
rule that I have
So
for
I-
my players is that if it adds up to 70 or below, that they can reroll.
Oh.
Let's
But
take a gander.
obviously, this is a bit of a
This is going to be a different situation.
more
yeah.
different campaign. Yeah.
Yeah, because Chell's campaigns are normally like higher
High
magic,
magic.
and it's like you are powerful people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chell, what does yours add up to? All your stats add up to together?
For the better one, it's 71.
71.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's about where
it's
I
on
would
the
tell my
higher
players.
side. Yeah.
I would say you can't reroll that. Those are your stats.
Yeah. That's on the higher side. What about you, Ink? What's your number altogether?
55.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweetheart.
Yeah, we might want
I
to bump
think-
you up.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hold on. 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, sorry, I forgot to carry one over. It's 60. 65, not
68.
55.
65.
My first
68,
is 75.
Ooh.
8.
I mean, if you want to do Chell's higher than 70 rule, I'll do one more pool of numbers and see what happens.
Wait, my second pool is only 58.
And we also technically raised me up, so technically I would have had 63 is what I rolled.
Right, but we raised you up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can do. Let's see how it all looks once we have our racials added and
I can
perhaps your background as well. So we can
Yeah.
see how that looks at the end and see how we're feeling about it. I think.
This is before background.
Okay.
So with the racials, then I did want to solidify whether or not I was doing the ASMR or the just straight up Yanti.
Mm-hmm. Racially, ooh, you might be more of a special case, my dear. We might have to think a little bit about how you want that to translate to. I will be super open to how you would like that to be interpreted, because what is the racial pluses for both of them?
So for the ASMR, it depends. Because there's the Fallen ASMR, the Protector ASMR, the Scourge ASMR, and then there's a Variant ASMR. I'm thinking, if anything, she would be a Protector ASMR if she was going to be an ASMR.
I agree.
And it's a +2 to Charisma.
Okay, that's fitting.
For the Yanti, Pure Blood, your Charisma score increases by 1, and your Intelligence increases by 2, and your Intelligence increases by 1.
It's not so different.
So it seems like your Charisma should probably at least increase by 1. Or Charisma, I should say. Your Charisma should increase by 1.
Both of them have the +2 for Charisma, but the Yanti has the +1 for Intelligence.
Wait, then what is the extra +1 for the Protector ASMR?
The
Like, what's
Protector just gets the Charisma.
But then what do ASMR in general get? Because don't all races usually get 1 +2 and 1 +1?
No, that's unusual if you get a +1 and a +2. Usually you get a max of +2. Sometimes it's 1 and 1. It's unusual that you Auntie have a 3.
I thought I thought usually all races got like a +3 total.
In fifth edition, it's normally you get 2 to 1 stat and 1 to
Yeah, like Tieflings have a +2 to Charisma, +1 to Intelligence. Gnomes have a +2 to Intelligence and +1 to something else based on their sub. Yeah, your sub race can affect what the +1 is, but usually the sub race gives you the +1. So ASMR probably have a baseline of something else, like another stat.
Yeah, let's see. So, well, because they also get a lot of. Let's see.
If they get a lot of bonus extra like abilities, they don't always get that.
Yeah. So,
like a lot of the newer races, like the kinkier races, have like other abilities.
Here it is. Base ASMR gets Charisma +2. Protectorate ASMR then also gives them Wisdom +1.
That makes
on
sense.
D&D Beyond.
It doesn't say that on D&D Beyond.
I am on D&D Beyond, my love.
I also am on D&D Beyond.
I will share my screen with you, my love.
Let me see. DM ruling.
Let me just find my actual screen.
I need it. Oh, there's so many objects.
So
the base ASMR is a +2 to Charisma, and your Wisdom is a +1.
Yep.
Ink is correct.
So ASMR traits, ability score increase, Charisma +2, and then right here at Protector ASMR, you have ability score increase, Wisdom score increases +1, and you get the Radiant Soul ability.
It would make
at the
sense
pop-up,
to me.
It's different. That's weird.
It makes sense to me that Estu would get the +1 to Wisdom and +2 to Charisma, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, I would still be a Yanti, I think, with obviously some like flavor differences, like perhaps the skin change colors, like I was talking about before.
Yeah.
If anything, you could probably maybe you could pick and choose from the other stats aside the other racial abilities, like how Yanti have the snake talking thing, but ASMR probably have something else. Maybe you can pick see how many each race has and be okay, we're gonna go with 3 of the extra traits and then pick and choose from one and the other based on what you think fits her.
I think that's a great idea to maybe take more Yuan-Ti traits if you'd like, and you could still this
the
one
traits and then the ASMR stat increases.
Yeah, well, I actually like it's funny because the Radiant Soul, starting at 3rd level, you can use your action to unleash the divine energy within yourself, causing your eyes to glimmer, and 2 luminous incorporeal
because it could be
wings
raven
to sprout from your
wings.
back, because they can be raven wings, and your eyes could be like her eyes, the raven's eyes. So I think you must. I feel like you must aesthetically take a Radiant Soul, but maybe for the traits that don't come with the subclass, just taking yuan traits, which we can look at. We can look at
things like the speaking to snakes and that kind of thing. That's not game breaking by any means.
No, it's not, and I think that she would be. And I'm going to send you some clan information for if you'd like to pick some flavor for that culture-wise. Is she waist down legs or waist down?
She's a Yanti pureblood, which are kind of like, at least in like a Forgotten Realms, they're seen as like lesser because they don't have any like overtly snake and serpentine physical things. So like the ones that have like the snake heads or the snake arms, or like the bottom half is like a snake, those are seen as like higher in like Forgotten Realms.
So that's actually super fascinating because there's a god, there's the worm, there's Worm.
That's what I was going to say. The worm
snakes.
And the raven. Yeah. So it's
you would definitely be, if your family is connected to you in some way, very much disapprove, or maybe they're cool and they're fine with it, but your clan would disapprove. Yeah, that's super cool.
Immediately see me as like, if I was going to be a cleric, it would probably be to the opposite, the
side
and the worm. But no, she was.
The raven being that bitch and just being like, oh, I'm just gonna take this, little snake person and be like, boop.
Give me that little one. That one's mine. I love that. That's so cool.
You're like walking the line between the two guys.
I really like that so much.
I love it. I love that it wasn't purposeful. It just came about through the natural way it went.
I kept on teasing Chell. I was like, if this was a book, you're the book protagonist.
I don't want to.
I want to make sure you all feel like the book's protagonist, because I agree. I love it. I think there's great flavor there. I want to dive into Nova and Lorelei too more before we get off here. But
yeah, of course.
Me and Christy have talked a little bit about some more stuff, which we'll keep talking about when we look into class stuff, and a couple more things that I want to talk to you about, Christy, with your character. And then for Lorelei, is there? Let's see. So we're talking about a gnome. Were you thinking of a gnome class? I was actually thinking of. I had some references for clans with gnomes because I like the idea that they live communally. But do you want that aspect to it? Do you want her to live a little more of a diverse community growing up?
I definitely thought that there was I definitely thought of like a big like family that because I hadn't really pictured like her immediate like family, like parents and siblings. I had pictured that she like was homesteading more with like her in-laws, but I pictured like a big family, and kind of like, because you had said that gnomes are like a more uncommon race. They're not like one of like the surface races, but they're like an uncommon one. So I kind of thought like, like with forest gnomes, like kind of like, what if like a bunch of the gnomes were just like farmers and like they just like handled like cattle and like shepherding, and they kind of lived on like the outskirts and like the land and stuff, and there's just like they're just like chilling out there in like these huge families because they live for like a long time. So I feel like they would have like big families.
I like the idea that maybe culturally there are methods that they've created to outsmart or avoid detection by daemons, which would be really cool to talk to you about.
They have like illusion magic, so I feel like if like, because in a civilization like this, like the farms would have to be like on the outside unless they were building like multiple layers of walls.
And they have to be very much patrolled by warriors of Harcombe. So it's totally possible. I think that's awesome. I imagine like homes that are more like that thatch, like the grass grows over them, and it's
like
more
kind of like the
away.
Hobbit little homes where they're like built in, but like a little bit. The way I pictured like the farms was almost like rice paddies or like steps, like where there's like like they'll have like one tier is carrots, and then the next one down they have something else growing, and then the next one down like they have like like different like tiered, because if they're like living kind of
Ooh.
on a mountain, they would need to like make good use of the space, and like they would probably, I kind of like the idea that like if you were saying that there was like some sort of water system underneath, like maybe they figured out a way to create like irrigation, like basic irrigation systems so that they could do slightly more vertical farming.
I think that's awesome. And then you also have the element with hot springs, because it's like, okay, how are crops growing here? Well, everything is kept warmer with these hot springs, so you could grow things more easily than if you're outside of the area where the hot springs are. That would be really cool too.
Yeah.
So maybe if it is rice paddy fields, this isn't how fucking agriculture works, but hey, this is fucking D&D setting with magic and shit. So that would be really cool if you had like those warm, like rice paddies with these like crops.
Yeah, but like what if they were growing like mosses and lichens or like interesting plants? Because this is the thing that I had I like the idea of like slightly like alien biology, like it's like flora and fauna that like you would find in the world but in strange places, or that are like slightly different. Like how when we did the Brave like one shot, like I had this image of flower being found in an anemone, even though those are like a sea plant. Like the idea of them like
it's more like Nazca, the Valley of the Wind.
I have not seen that, but Avatar, like Blue People Avatar, where they have like the cool like big glowy plants, like things like that.
That's hilarious, because that's in my reference list of documents to look at. Is like the plants in Avatar are very cool. The way they feel alien, but they're also like darker in some ways. That's totally
like fitting. I like the idea that they would be growing some normal crops, but like they're primarily growing more like mushrooms and like lichens and weird phosphorescent mosses and things like that.
Please watch it when you have free time, or you're just chilling and trying to relax. It's a very relaxing movie. It's a Studio Ghibli movie. Nazca, the Valley of the Wind.
I have heard of it. It is on my list. I just have not viewed it.
You'd actually, she's actually a really great reference for Lorelai. I can picture. She's like this protector of this town.
Oh yeah.
Oh, she's got this animal familiar. Oh wait, Victoria, watch this as soon as you can.
All right, I'll.
It's got. You're gonna
is
be
it on
like
Netflix? It's probably not on Netflix, is it?
Mm-mm.
Maybe I can get it on iTunes.
You can find where you illegally stream anime.
You just
we
say,
don't condone that here officially.
Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Watch. And I'm gonna find it.
I have to kind of think about what I want her to be as far as like what weapons she uses for where I put these skills.
You could get those those cool like the spear thingies, but they're like long spear. They're like a long blade. They're like the Chult weapon. That's kind of cool.
That is cool.
Those are on D&D Beyond.
So these are without your racial pluses, Christy?
That's with the racial pluses, not the background plus.
Okay. Because that ups your... You had a 14... A 13, a 13, and a 12. We hadn't changed yours at all?
No.
Or did we? Okay, let's up something so you can get that maybe a 2, maybe one of those 13s to a 14?
Probably the
What do you
intelligence,
think?
because that's the saving throw for the skill abilities.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it. Make that a 13 or 14.
Sure.
And then Victoria, we're gonna probably have to bring one of your, because you have a 9 and an 8, and then you have an 18, a 15, a 14, and 11.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get this up here. I get a +2 intelligence for being a gnome, and I get something else. I get a +1 to charisma. Neither of those stats are ones that I really like
Want.
need. Well, they're that's why like gnome with fighter is like it's not
unusual.
optimized, but that's okay.
That's
'cause
okay.
that's what we're doing.
I got an 18, so
Yeah.
that's helpful. Would you want to move that 14 to a...
I can make it like an 11.
I was thinking an 11 as well, actually. It's perfect. And then it keeps you right at where Chell is, total-wise.
Yeah.
And then Christy, what was your total, Christy?
It was 68.
68, but we put that up
that's
to
69. Heyo.
Yay! So you're about perfect. So you three are set.
That would bring me down to 72 or 71 total.
That's right where Chell is, and then Christy, you're right under that, and then let's look at ink. That's a
I also
20.
get advantage on saving throws and insight checks because Kelly.
Nice.
Insight
Nice.
check.
What
yeah,
are you,
so
what's
I
your
have
total right now?
so my total with moving the 12 to a 14 is 65.
We're gonna want to raise something up.
Can you bump up? Do you have anything that's a -2 that you could bump up to a -1?
Yeah.
It's my charisma is -2.
Do you want to bump it up, or do you want to
or make
bump
one
up
of your
an 11?
-1s a 0?
I don't have a -1.
He's just got 3 zeros. Let's bump up a 0 to
Make it
a
12.
Let's do a 13. One of those 11s to a 13.
Sure, I'll bring my dexterity up.
Or should we do... Yeah, let's do that. Let's do 13.
I mean, either that or it's like I'll always take more strength because I'm literally built to be a big, strong metal man. If you like
that flavor more, do it. Let's do that. Let's make it an 18 if you want. So that's your ult stat, and then your kind of average dex, intelligence, wisdom, good con, and very horrible charisma.
I'll take an 18.
I think flavor wise with a Warforged, that makes sense to me.
I'm literally a big metal man.
And then that raises you up to right where you need to be for your total, I think. I think that would keep you more in line with everybody else.
Well, that increased, so that gave me another
68?
2. Yeah, so a 67.
67. That's still low. Do you want to make your 6 a 7?
Can I
or
make
do you want
the
to make
dexterity the dexterity is
11?
I'll make that up.
It a 12.
+1.
And then I think you're perfect.
Okay.
So all of your
I
stats
like
are set. All of you. Yay!
I have a couple quick questions.
Please give it to me.
So, do you know what you're going to be doing as far as starting equipment is concerned?
Starting equipment is going to probably be a little more flavored to the world. So it's something that I'm going to have to do a little research on and make sure that we have something fun in there, but also that works.
Because, like, for clerics, for example, they start with a mace. But I can't really see her using a mace. So it's like,
I'm never gonna force you guys to be like, no, you have to use what's said that you can use.
I just wanted to make sure because I wanted to like give her like a quarterstaff or just something like that. And
please.
Okay.
What is this? I don't like majestic hills.
And then my second question.
Sorry, music.
Based on the world, the god, would you recommend, because I'm still really, really, really like down the middle, either the light or the life domain?
Ooh.
What are the different things that you get?
Yeah, what are the abilities like?
So
light gives you a lot of fire stuff, right?
Yeah, the light domain.
Get fireball.
So like my channel divinity. I'm gonna look somewhere other than D&D Beyond.
Light domain is cool because it's a cleric with fireball.
It's fun.
It's scary. Can you imagine if Opal was flinging fireballs?
So, light domain, gods of light, promote the ideals of rebirth and renewal, truth, vigilance, beauty, often using the symbol of the sun. So I mean, there's that. But
we can flavor that differently if you want.
So they get like I can impose disadvantage on a roll, causing light to flare between the attacker before it hits or misses. Banishing darkness, harnessing sunlight to damage my foes, presenting my holy symbol.
We can make that moonlight.
Needs to make a con saving throw. At 6th level, I can do that when a creature attacks a different creature instead of just me.
So attack and support, a little bit of support, but mostly attack.
The life domain focuses on the vibrant, positive energy. The gods of life promote vitality, health through healing the sick and wounded, caring for those in need, and driving away the forces of death and undeath. So
It's
gonna
the
be tailored more
healer's
to
healer.
healing.
It's
Yeah.
like they get big
Yeah.
healing power.
Big support.
Wait, what is the channel divinity for life?
The channel
They just
divinity for life, starting at 2nd level, as an action, you present your holy symbol and evoke healing energy that can restore a number of hit points equal to 5 times your cleric level.
Mm.
It's
in
sort of
creature-
like a paladin's,
An
Yeah.
ult pool, of healing.
but
So
they
one
have to
is,
spend it all.
what do you feel like feels more natural for her? Because if you want her to be this chosen figure,
Mhm.
maybe the light is more reminiscent of her being chosen, but you could also flavor that with life because healing magic is so rare.
Mhm.
I could see it going either way. I guess it's just how do you want to play her, Chell? Do you want
Yeah.
to play her as a let me heal you, or let me heal you and let me fuck shit up?
I think she would be both.
Okay.
So I'm thinking the
Which
light domain
maybe
might probably,
light.
yeah,
Banish
Yeah.
the darkness.
because she's gonna kind of be the one who is. She wants to help and heal, but will also put herself in danger if that's what helping
Yeah.
means.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
no, you
okay.
won't.
She
Oh,
seems
yes,
pretty
I
Oh no, you
will.
won't. Oh no, you
yes, I
won't.
will.
Is it right to say that it seems like she might be extroverted, maybe self internally a little more lower self esteem internally, but
Yes.
extroverted wise and like like a
Yes.
little more
100%.
inclusive, and I love that. That's awesome.
Lady Yasu,
Don't
Alright.
talk to me.
stay by my side. Don't run
Okay,
off.
thank you. I just
I
needed
have
to talk
long
her out
legs.
for a
I will chase you.
So for backgrounds, are we going with like
You
the
guys can take
backgrounds in-
inspiration from these. I'm not going to say you must pick one, but I found these really helpful, and some of them wrapped up in.
Yeah,
are
like
wrapped up
because
in
I was gonna with like the herder and different things that you had said. Like for example, there are parts of like Outlander that I like, but there are parts of Outlander that I don't like.
Yeah,
And I think there's like a couple other things like that are like it's like bits and pieces that I like.
let's make something then.
Because I think you can do a
always
custom
encourage
one.
that. Yeah, I always
Mine's-
encourage custom
How do you
backgrounds
tell which
Guardian.
is like the abilities that you're taking? Like, what's the ability score versus
that you would
skills?
take from it.
Yeah.
Because it's different system. There's no 1-to-1, so
Okay.
we'll just talk and look at it.
Okay.
What one is sticking out to you, Christy? Is there one that you are
There's
liking?
a couple, but I'll message. I'll talk to you about it after.
Okay, yeah. We can. All of these are in an endeavor to like help you come up with ideas, but I believe in custom creation of backgrounds because it's more fun that way. I think sometimes, but these are great jumping points. I think.
It jumped out so easily to me. Guardian.
Yeah, I
Like-
was looking at that one for you.
Like it's just that's what he is.
Yeah.
He is a living shield.
I agree. I think that's a really cool
I gotta look at these. Wolfling.
What-
Yeah, I was
what-
looking at
What
Danica.
movie am I thinking of where it's like
Okay.
what movie or game or something am I thinking of where someone says I am your shield?
Ooh,
Or like I will be your shield. It was something.
sounds like a video
It's in a
game
movie.
line.
Yeah, that sounds like I don't know though.
Garen? No. Check. Also,
Oh, I think it's Overwatch.
also, Christy, in answer to the last question you had asked, to the first question there, and the second one, yes, that's what I was picturing. But I'll leave that
Okay,
up to
yeah.
you to decide how she wants to play that with the other PCs.
Okay.
And I like both these.
It is Overwatch, Dylan.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Reinhardt.
I am
Me
your
too, I got a
shield.
torch.
Hi, kitty.
I know, right? Maybe we could make
I am
something
amazing.
Okay.
between them.
Yeah. It's a combination of the two, really.
Yeah, let's combo them.
I'm struggling to figure out where to put this 8.
Oh, this
Mm.
babies.
I
I put my
mean,
negative in strength because rogues aren't strong.
you
Mhm.
could do you could just do the very typical sort of
Do
book dumb
intelligence,
cleric.
you could
You could dump intelligence.
You could dump dex
You could-
or strength or
Quarter stats, what do they use?
constitution.
Quarterstaffs are
they-
technically.
I think there's. Well, I thought that
I think they're
monks can use them as.
but
Well,
they're technically
Yeah, so versatile means it can be one or two-handed. It doesn't technically have the finesse property, but monks, since they're a monk weapon, they can use dex with them.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel like quarterstaffs should always have been finesse weapons. As someone who literally
with
trains
the way
with
that
a
they're
bow
used.
staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could dump Constitution. You could be kind of frail of body.
Peach, what are you doing?
People don't often do negative con, but I think it's really fun.
I know.
I mean,
I'm
Aurora.
a basic
You
ass
could
con.
Aurora, yeah, my character, the one that I told you about was negative con. I mean, you could flavor that as like the magic takes such a toll on you, and then you have your disability that you always have in the character.
That's one thing that I was talking to Dylan about yesterday. I am a disabled individual, and I don't see enough disabled characters in D&D, so I very frequently try to put bits and pieces of my disabilities into my characters, or just disability in general. Obviously, I'm not blind, but like Temperance is blind. Felix deals with a lot of like PTSD stuff. My character Gideon deals with like chronic pain. But I was like, this character just doesn't feel like the kind of character I would give a disability to.
Then no.
Which is fine, but it was like that another one of those like out of my comfort zone things that I was like, interesting. This is not something I normally do.
That just made me think of this. I'm going to use harsher injury properties in this game.
Okay.
So magic won't heal everything, and if it's above a certain level, it will give you a scar or lose a limb or etc. There are people with what is it called? What are they called?
Oh no! You can rip my limbs off all you want because I'm just a robot. You can just totally dismember me.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's similar to Full Metal Alchemist, how people have arms and legs that are mechanical. Not that complex mechanics, but not super primitive.
By the end of this, you're all gonna look like me.
So there are people actually, when they lose a limb to say a demon on a scouting mission, they can get a mechanical arm, leg, eye, etc. That's something that happens.
I could dump charisma.
But I also dumped charisma. We would be two very like.
And I also dumped charisma.
Oh, I got a positive charisma.
I mean, are we all just the weird kids? So.
Oh, you're the really awkward.
It's gonna end up super weird if Jody chooses the Kenku Paladin and has the highest charisma as a character that literally cannot speak.
I have a 12 charisma. I'm not that bad.
Okay. Danica?
Sorry, I'm just pulling out.
Charisma was going to be one of the higher ones for me. I think I was going to put my 14 or my 12 in charisma.
You could do then maybe you dump strength. Even though you're using a quarterstaff, you're very magic reliant, so
if things like that break, you're not going to be doing crazy damage with a quarterstaff or anything.
No.
We can flavor. Maybe it's not quite a quarterstaff. Maybe it's something that relies more on your dexterity to wield rather than your strength, or vice versa. So we can talk about that.
We can talk about doing that. I'll dump strength, so we can talk about doing that.
I need to pick 3 extra ones.
Ooh. Let me grab my book and I can give you kind of a.
Wait,
do you want to speak languages that most people speak? Do you want to speak languages that fit more with your background? Wink, wink, Christy? Or do you want something you learned on the road?
Well, she gets Corey, which is the Kalishtar. She gets Common, and then she gets 3 more. So
do you want me to tell you what's
normal, and then maybe something.
Do a lot of people speak like orc or something?
Yeah, orc is just really common. There is.
Interesting.
Let's see, goblin is very common. Because a lot of races, there are hobgoblins, goblins, etc. Draconic is common.
Hey, Danica.
Yeah.
Does that mean that actually I would actually speak an old world common? Would I basically be talking like an old English person while you're all
Oh
like...
my god, you're right. You would. You would talk like a formal Shakespearean or Shakespearean actually fits me
I'm a
perfectly.
Shakespeare.
So you really are like my lady Yesu.
Oh my god,
I
that's
shan't
so
let you
cute.
down.
That's so cute. Oh my
I
god.
love it.
Aww. But yes, it would be more Old English.
Okay,
Or
so
Old
I know
Common.
Okay, cool. So
What you can play
I'm
with?
gonna have all the thou and thy and dust.
That's so cute.
Dust
You're
thy
a-
lady.
You're an
Yes.
old-fashioned Robert or Robo. You're an old-fashioned Robo.
Dust thy lady Esu need assistance.
That's so
Really
cute.
quick, Danica, what I was gonna do for the custom background, I
Mhm.
kind of wanted to do it like as like the farming like stuff. So I just put it in as homesteader, and I made the skill proficiencies. It's basically the same thing as Outlander, but I just like I feel like that knowing a musical instrument and an extra language just seems like dumb and not relevant to like what she
Yeah.
would be doing.
Yeah.
So I just, instead of doing it that way, because you can choose, like, do you want like 2 skill proficiencies and 2 tools, or like 2 skill proficiencies and like a language and a tool? So I went with the 2 skills, 2 tools. So I have survival and athletics, because those are like the ones that Outlander had, and I feel like they make sense for like a
Yeah.
farmer.
Yeah.
And then tool proficiencies, I have land vehicles.
Ah.
And then I was thinking either like cook's utensils or like an herbalism kit. I don't know.
Yeah, I think those fit.
Or like
Both those
navigator's tools. I don't know.
fit. Ooh, yeah. If she was, so this is something I was going to bring up. In a cluster, this is something that I'm kind of taking a page out of Matthew Kogel's book, where he kind of has a group, and he makes so in his it's called the Chain. It's a mercenary group, and when you're you have a role in that mercenary group, and that role gives you kind of like this fun little feat. Only while you're attaining that role do you have the ability to use that feat. It's the same in a cluster, where they make a cluster because you get that skill by being, say, the group's navigator, say the group's hunter, say the group's face, or whatever the. I'm still coming up with the roles. There's like 6 right now. Or 6 or 7, because I kind of be fun if you guys don't have everybody to fill all the roles in the party. But mostly, yes, you do. But yeah, I wanted to.
Oh,
give
see,
you guys
if there were like things like that, that makes me think that Juniper would have the navigator's tools, because he was like the one who was like out in the woods more.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give her the navigator's tools, because I feel like that's the thing that he would have done.
He would have done. That's cute. Okay.
I hit things.
What was the name of the background thing from the things that you sent that like jumped out as being really good for Esu?
Child of the Raven.
I just found it. Okay.
You grew up among the Raven sisters and learned to venerate the Raven god. You learned to fear the Rust brothers and to live off the land. It is in the wind that you feel the most free.
I love that last line.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna.
Is that why you ride on my shoulders all the time?
Probably.
Your goddess's wife is like beautiful and fantastic, and she's the wind. So you're like, oh, wind.
I'm all about lesbian goddesses.
Yes, me myself as well.
It's lesbians or sisters with you. Very fine line.
Yo, Danica, are you like
killing a man?
So sorry, I have to make dinner eventually for me and my brother.
Oh,
So
you're
please
okay.
excuse my noises. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, that sounds really good. I want to dig a little more into each of your guys' stuff with a couple little custom things I'm thinking about in my head right now that we've had this very lovely talk. And I will give kind of a couple more specs for Park Home, which will be fun, I think, because you guys might be like, oh, I didn't know that there was this little guild. I like that. or stuff like that, or NPCs and fellow people and other clusters. You'll be like, hey, maybe we're friends, or stuff like that. You might be into.
So, being, and you and I can talk about this more, this particular bit a little bit more, like outside of this conversation, because I kind of want it to sort of be that she was raised in the temple or whatever.
The Raven Church.
Would I have been taught more languages? I'm trying to decide if I should do the 2 skills and 2 tools, 2 skills, 2 languages.
I could see why being encouraging you to speak to crowds eventually.
Yeah,
which would be kind of fun.
That would be fun.
So I could see Orcish, Goblin. I could see. You already know, obviously, if you want to language. What else? You could do. Yeah, I think Orcish, Goblin. What was the ones? Draconic. Those ones are most common.
I chose the background feature of Acolyte. So you command the respect of those who share your faith and can perform religious ceremonies of your deity. You and your adventuring companions can expect to receive training and care at a temple, shrine, or other established presence of your faith.
Cute.
It just seemed to fit.
That fits, for sure.
Cool.
That sounds really good to me. One second.
Dylan, I'm going to give her proficiency in painter's supplies.
Yes! Decorate my armor because I can't wear clothes. I can pretty much only wear like a cape or a cloak. Nothing else fits me.
You always wearing clothes.
I'm washing me and my clothes.
Or are you always naked?
Ooh.
Rip off that crotch plate.
How about this? How about this? I'm always equipped with everything I need at any given time.
The Robo Bussy.
Oh. Versatile.
That's what the versatile property on weapons really means.
Yeah.
Also, so that's the other thing, like, because Danica's going to be looking into those sort of, like, weird invented weapons, so that might end up solving the, like, weird quarterstaff strength issue.
Yeah, stuff like that's what I was thinking with that for everyone in the party if they want to do something a little more non-traditional.
I mean, so we know... Well, yes?
Sorry, you go ahead and...
Please.
I was just going to quickly ask. So, like, we know that silver kills daemons.
Silver is good.
Is it more like do people say like you cut them, you want blades, or like is it like you crush them, you want to bludgeon them? Is there anything tied with that? Pierce their thick hides.
Weaknesses and such. Their body touching
mechanical weaknesses, but
their body touching silver has proven to show festering of some kind, some sort of like bubbling of the flesh. So and it seems to be more painful. But then besides that, people aren't really aware of weaknesses like that. So it seems like the touching of it. So slashing, bludgeoning.
It doesn't.
You can choose that depending on. Yeah, you can choose that depending on what.
Because I was just gonna ask either that or if the church favored a specific style of weapon, because it would be what I wield, whether it was a great maul or a sword or a pole arm, if that's more,
I'll have to think about that. I imagine something closer to a bird in that idea, but I'm also open to suggestions on that because I haven't thought of a specific weapon they might use. But
an axe that looks like a wing.
Ooh, that would be pretty. I was actually thinking of axes being the main weapon that the city uses.
Because they're also useful tools. Like
Yeah, they're exactly. It's kind of like people that are sent out from the guard to do patrols and such. It's just useful to have axe on you. So I would imagine this church might use something that or something similar.
Okay.
I'm open to ideas on that front. But yeah, I hate when I forget to loop music.
So for right now, no, we're just gonna leave items blank.
If you'd like, you can use the base for. You can use the base for the background, a background that you prefer, similar to the one you chose in the Forbidden Lands one. If you find an equivalent in, 5e that you like, you can use hey, dogs barking. Sorry. What are you barking at? Stop. You never do that. Hey, come here. Fuzzy. Sorry. But yeah, you can use that, the tools that come with those backgrounds. And then there's adventuring gear. You can pick a general pack that you like adventures or scholars or all that. And we can start reflavoring things to be more towards you guys. And then your background specifically. So like herbalism might be fitting or,
that's part of my question.
The tarot card deck.
Yeah, because like she has that I gave her that. But like I'm debating, like, should she be more survival based or investigation based? Because like investigation is kind of a rogue thing.
Yeah.
But is she a normal rogue? Like
investigation
is she for traps and stuff? Like is that
investigation may be really useful for her, just in that she's gone so many places. Investigation's, I think, useful survival skill. Okay. But I'll leave that up to you if you want survival or investigation.
No, I'm just because like I don't want to overlap too much with everybody. Like if we already have a survival.
Oh, gotcha.
Nope.
What? Survival? I mean, I think I have it as a proficiency, but
that's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to like keep things optimized, which to me is like whatever. Like I'm more like physical stuff and like nature stuff.
I'm telling you, physical, nature, survival, all that's going to be real useful. So if more than one of you has survival, that's
probably
awesome.
I'm trying to remember. I'm downstairs making food myself. I know I have athletics. I know I took perception, both because it's one of the most used skills ever, and also because I had to find Esu because she liked to run around and hide. So I had to be able to find her. And then I think maybe I'll have to double check. I might have taken history just because I'm old technically. I don't know.
I took insight, medicine, perception, and persuasion.
Medicine, perception, and persuasion. Yeah, that sounds good.
Oh, that's what it is. I have intimidation.
Intimidation sounds good. All these sound great to me. I want to give I feel really good about Esu. I feel really good about. I'm gonna maybe give a couple more things to you, Ink, for Haven. I think Nova. I'm gonna give. Obviously, she needs a couple more things for you, Christy. For you, for class and racial stuff.
Yeah.
And I really want to give Lorelai something. I don't know. I feel like she needs or not that she needs, but it would be kind of fun if she had a little extra something in there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely would like to talk to you more about her because I sent you my ideas for the characters, but I definitely would like to talk to you about it more.
Yeah, and then I think when
I just didn't want to be annoying because I knew you were busy at work, and then I was also busy at work.
No worries. I appreciate all the messages you guys send me. I know that it's hard for me to respond this week and last week because of how hectic we've gotten at work, but I always read them and I'm always thinking about you guys. So please never fear. You can always message it to me regardless. I will be able to take a peek at it. Will I have the time to think of a thoughtful response and put it down?
Also, here's another thing that I've noticed, and I feel like we might have talked about this, but like how I was saying, like there's certain skills that a lot of people don't use. There's also like the tool sets that people have. I don't think get used a lot, and I feel like it would be really nice for those to, like, for example, like when people like make camp for the day, usually you kind of glaze over like, okay, you make camp, you find food, and you go to bed. But it's like, okay, no, like you can't just like find food. Like you need to go and like do a check, and then like you might find some berries, or like you might try to hunt something, but you can't just like have, okay, you hunted this animal, you're good. It's like, no, like you gotta cook it. And like, for example, if I have like proficiency with cook's utensils, like let's say I get a really good roll on like cook's utensils, maybe the food like makes everyone feel really good, but if I get a really bad roll, maybe it like has a penalty.
I would be totally down to give you things. I'd be totally down to give you inspiration for good meals.
We live in a society where everyone needs to also be craftspeople.
Like I definitely like the idea of like incorporating skills and like tool use, like practical skills. Because it's not the kind of thing you see. Like someone could have proficiency with like freaking cobbler's tools, but who in like a game that's more high magic is like, I need to use my cobbler's tools right now. Like,
No, absolutely, I completely agree, and that's exactly the vibe I want to go for with the world. But thank you for that reminder, Victoria, because I think that's really useful for me to make sure that I'm thinking about for challenges and the flow of the game and etc. So that's great.
That's something that I've been trying to kind of incorporate a lot more into my campaigns too, is actually like using tools and going hunting and those sorts of things. Like Dylan, I really kind of went into like the alchemy tools and supplies that he has for his character, and it's actually turned into like character things for him. I love that. So,
It's actually changed my tactics.
So I think I completely agree that those tools and those proficiencies aren't used enough. I try to put like survival checks a lot into the game. Like I always like ask like, okay, so like they're like, okay, so I want to look around to see if there are people here, or our people have been here. And I always make sure to ask, how are you looking? What are you doing? Because if they tell me, oh, I'm just looking around the room, okay, that's going to be perception. But if they tell me I'm looking for footprints, I'm going to make them roll survival, So, yes, I completely agree that that's something that needs to be used a lot more in the game.
I used footprints to be able... It was a little too late, but I used footprints to be able to determine that we were falling into a trap with hags. There was an old woman who was asking us to help because her kids got lost in a cornfield. And she ran off because you heard the kids, and she's like, oh no, I hear them, and she ran off. And I went, Chell, if I look at the footprints that she left, did it match? And Chell was like, the old woman was clothed and wearing boots, but the footprints are bare feet.
Oh.
So I knew that she was using
That's
an illusion.
so creepy. That's awesome.
But then it was like she'd already disappeared into the corn with my friends. I and like 2 other people hung back. The rest of the party was in there looking for the kids already, and she ran off.
That was such a good encounter.
It was such a good encounter because
one of them stood on top of like the cart, because they have like a covered cart. One of them stood on top of the cart and was using the movement in the corn and message to tell them where to go. Because I was having them roll survival checks to get through the corn because the corn was taller than they are. But there was somebody who stayed behind and was like using message to tell them, okay, now turn right, now turn left, to like figure out where to go. It was really, really cool. It was so fun. You guys were so creative, and it was like really fun for me to run.
We used everything. I used my potion.
Really fun.
I had made a growth potion earlier. And I'm a goblin, so I drank the growth potion. It made me just tall enough to see over the corn. Also, before going into the corn, I had bought a signal whistle because I went through the entire list of adventurers gear and I bought a bunch of shit that everyone probably thought was going to be fucking useless. I bought a signal whistle.
Because I told you guys, I was like, I just want to let you guys know I'm going to start using or putting you in situations where a lot of this adventuring gear is going to start coming in handy. So, like, think carefully about what you guys buy.
So I listened. I bought this whistle, and I gave it to a character, and I said, okay, you're going to just go in there. If anything, like, if you just feel wrong, I was like, blow the whistle. And he did, and because of that, him blowing the whistle, I was able to find him later on during the fight, because he blew it.
Yeah. So, all of that to say, I am completely on the same page, Victoria.
I just feel like it's...
Oh, never mind.
What?
Oh, I was just gonna ask what the language the daemons speak. Is it infernal or abyssal? Or
It's more akin to like an amalgamation between infernal and deep speech and abyssal. Like it's just something.
It's like a mismatch of all of the. So it's not a language.
It's a language that you can speak if you are you would maybe know, like tieflings know something where they could, if you were a tiefling, you might be able to overhear something that if an intelligent daemon is trying to talk, it would be like knowing maybe like Spanish or Greek and hearing something in French, so you may understand
little words and phrases.
Little words and phrases, yeah. So that would be the closest. So tieflings speak something, I might come up with a name for it, but for now you can just say deep speech. That is kind of the language of daemons in this.
Yeah, I'm just debating what languages to give her.
Yeah, so you could talk with tieflings. I think tieflings would be pretty common in your more nomadic lifestyle.
I feel like Orcish and like Goblin and like a tiefling language, like either as deep speech or infernal, would be cool.
But I was also thinking like celestial because of the Kalashtar spirit. Like I know the Kalashtar spirit is quarry, but like it's also the same name.
Yeah, that's interesting too.
Yeah, that would be cool. And I feel like it would make more sense to not necessarily like speaking the language of the daemons. I think is like a very situational and very specific to tieflings who even they themselves hardly understand it. And I feel like these specific tieflings, like,
what is the point of him going back?
Like maybe their understanding of what daemons are saying isn't even necessarily like a linguistic thing. Like it's kind of like how in Mass Effect, like they have like the translators, but like a human could never speak the language that what is Garrus? What is he?
Oh, he's a Turian.
Turian, yeah, because Turians have like they have
Mandibles.
they have the mandibles that like there's movement there that they don't understand, but like their vocals are like also like two-toned, so there's tones too high or too low for like a human to hear. And I feel like what if tieflings are like the only tieflings can hear because they are like physiologically ever so slightly more in tune to like daemons or something.
That's really interesting.
Just thinking what the last language is. I got Celestial and Orcish.
What about like Sylvan? Maybe you found some like weird fucking like primitive pixies.
On par with dreams, actually. Sylvan is actually pretty dreamlike.
That is pretty dreamlike. We could play for something.
That would be cool.
Sylvan it is.
Another thing that I would like to figure out, purely for my sake, Danica, is under what circumstances these abilities that SU has came about.
Ugh, sorry guys.
No, you're good. You have to make dinner for your family. It's fine.
I'm just gonna say I'm super, super excited.
I know, me too. I'm sending you a message of questions I have, but you don't have to answer them right now. I don't know how I would want that to be.
Yeah, I'll send you a list of things that I still want to figure out that don't necessarily need to be spoken about now.
I think I'm pretty much done. I think the only thing I can think of is do they call Warforged? Like, do they actually even know what I am?
Hey, robot boy!
That's a good question. Let me think about it. If you have any ideas too, please let me know. I'm open to that, but I also will probably be able to think of a couple interesting titles.
Metal Man.
Dylan, did you decide on a name? I know we were going between two.
Haven.
Okay.
It's it just has a more emotional ring to it, I think.
I like Haven more.
And
I was
would
gonna.
have given it to you.
Yes. I don't know. I don't even know if anyone called me anything before you did. Probably just sort of was like, I don't know what to call it. But yeah, no, I would have maybe leaned towards Rook if you ended up taking like a dragon chess set, because I gave him dragon chess set proficiency, so that we like played chess together.
I mean,
I like Rook. I mean, I like Haven.
Okay.
It's such a soft name for
A big boy.
What will inevitably be a dude that's literally dripping in gore. God, if I end up killing something super hard and I'm like all covered in blood, he's gonna be like, "I'm sorry, Lady Esu, I ruined your painting."
Oh, here's a question. Because I don't know how I want to do this. Should I put my big boy 18 into con or into strength?
What sort of fighting are you planning on doing? Like, what kinds of weapons?
With the Cavalier, because when you get to Cavalier, you basically get the ability to like impose disadvantage on anyone who attacks anyone other than you. But then with the lance, when the lance is wielded mounted, it's one-handed. So if I do dueling, I can also take a shield in theory. But if I fall off, I can't use the lance, but I have other weapons for that. So I should be able to do a shield and a
What is your
lance.
next lowest stat?
I have an 18 and a 15.
Do you have your 15 anywhere?
Right now I have the 18 in strength and the 15 in con, but I think I want to switch them because the Cavalier's entire ability set is about like taking hits and stopping hits on other people, including your mount. Because like that's the thing with imposing disadvantage is that it makes it harder for enemies to attack your mount. Because when your mount gets attacked, you have to roll, I think, a DC 11 saving throw to stay on.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I'm thinking of con.
I was gonna say, like, if you want to spread things out, because I have an 18 in strength now, so it's like if we need heavy lifting, you can go with the big metal man, but you can take a hit.
You can always up your strength at ability score improvements.
Yeah. I think it makes sense that she would be more like, even though she's not like a protection fighting style of like anything like that, I still kind of like the idea that she's like trying to like get up in it and take the hits, as opposed to being the one who's like dealing a lot of damage.
That sounds like trauma.
We'll probably have a lot of
That sounds like trauma.
Yeah. We'll probably end up having our characters probably would end up just being close just on the fact that you and I are like
the tanks.
We're the two frontline people that were like take the hits.
Yeah.
I always like bonding with the people that you like are close to in fights.
Yeah.
I would admire your strength. For such a small creature, you are incredibly strong. Forthwith.
I don't, and then I have right now with the way it's set, I have a -1 to charisma, but I get racial bonus. I get a +1 to dex and a +2 to intelligence. So I put the 8 in intelligence, which takes it to a 10, so it's nothing. And then dexterity, I get a +1, so that goes from 11 to 12. So that's a +1. And then I guess charisma is just a 9. I don't think of her as uncharismatic in the way that I think of Temerity as uncharismatic. Like, Temerity's a fucking bitch. She's
There are different
weird.
ways to
Temerity-
be- there are different ways to be
Yeah.
charismatic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to
Temerity
think
is
of how I would
actively
play that.
rude. I mean,
Yeah.
you
It
can
could
be.
just be
She's abrasive and awkward and rude. Whereas
I mean, this could just. It can be shyness.
I don't think of her as shy though, that's the thing. Like I think of her as perfectly
shy in a-
happy.
in a like group speaking you know what I mean? Like in battle and in a stuff, but
More of like a follower than a leader. She's not a leader personality, but she's not necessarily like meek.
There it is.
So low charisma doesn't necessarily mean that they're meek or shy. Like low charisma could be she puts her foot in her mouth a lot, or maybe she says inappropriate things out
Just
of
brash.
context,
Or is like bad at expressing her emotions.
or bad at expressing her emotions.
Oh, I think she has the emotional intelligence of a spoon.
Right. So
She-
that's also low charisma, and that because that will come out in like relationships too. Because if she has the emotional intelligence of a fucking spoon, when somebody like Esu, for example, is trying to be kind to her or to like reach out to her and open up to her, she's not gonna recognize that, or she'll
Yeah.
push it away if she does. That's also low charisma.
Or you trying to be like, let's go through grief counseling. She'd be like, I'm not grieving. There's nothing to
Right.
grieve.
What are you talking about? Yeah.
Uh, okay, cool.
Or she could be extremely well-meaning, but does and says the wrong thing. So like,
Yeah, isn't necessarily the most insightful about what
It's-
people
right.
actually need.
it can be kind of tone deaf. It can be like you didn't really read the energy of the room,
Read the
and you
mood,
kind of
yeah.
and you kind of say something, and everyone kind of gives you that look of like, really, you said that now?
What?
yeah, there are a lot of ways to be
Yeah.
charismatic. So I think
I definitely have to think of that. If any of you guys want to RP at some point during like the next week, I really
Yeah,
need to figure out her voice and personality, and I would highly appreciate that.
Like I said, we
Now,
probably.
we just
That is kind of why we're all
Yeah.
right here.
we just do, like it's what we did with Lip when we did the Waterdeep thing when JJ was on vacation. We just did like a fuck it, let's just RP, but it's not canon.
Yeah, you guys want to do that? Let's do it.
Yes.
Yeah, I
wanna
need to
out
figure
voices,
this
I
out.
wanna figure out accents, I want to figure out where you guys are.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I would love to do. There's a couple things I'd love. I just wish Jody was able to be here for this too.
I miss Jody.
No.
Her energy was so powerful tonight. I was like shivering.
Because yeah, there's still things that I think.
Oh, Christy, because you were asking before about the proficiencies.
Yes.
I have acrobatics, animal handling, athletics, survival.
Okay.
Okay, so I
God damn it.
I'm testing. Do I
Sorry, I
sound
need
normal?
to get used to that.
Do I sound normal now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I put a keybind on it, so right in the middle of my sentence,
I can start talking like this.
Oh, that's so
Oh,
cool.
that's a good
and then turn it
idea.
off. I actually turns out I did take investigation.
Oh.
I took perception and investigation because I keep on having to find where this one's hiding.
Hello.
I took athletics, intimidation, investigation, perception.
What were you thinking of taking, Christy? Or well, what is it? So
I'll
what
tell
do you already
the ones
have?
I have right now that are
Yeah.
clicked. So I have acrobatics, which I don't even know if she needs. Like I know that's a rogue thing, but I don't know if she personally needs it.
I kind of like the idea that she might have ended up in some sticky situations trying to evade some daemons and had to like squeeze in between some rocks
Maybe.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
or climb up on her like little traveler
'cause
wagon.
I take acrobatics as also meaning like flexibility, so having to like kind of bend over things and around
not so
things
much,
is
like,
Stealthy?
hardcore stuff.
Yeah. Is she stealthy?
Yeah, she's got stealth. She's got sleight of hand for the tarot deck, and stealing purple things. I gave her the investigation. She's got insight. She has advantage on insight actually. She has deception and acrobatics.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
pretty
that
good.
sounds. I mean, I would say survival. You could. I still think that you could totally go with survival if you don't feel acrobatics super hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you're the person that like. This is a world where they're like, if you like leave the city, you like probably die, and you like go out on your own a lot.
Yeah.
They definitely if you're like a common person, you have to have someone with you who knows
that's
what
why
they're
I was
doing.
torn on like I thought about it. Investigation actually does work because she's investigating mines, so that she kind of has to. But between acrobatics and survival, I wasn't sure which one I would want for her. But I'm actually thinking more survival. If she was on her own, like acrobatics can only get you so far.
Yeah, that would be really, really interesting, actually.
Okay.
Because you could do that. You could also do. Yeah, that's okay. And you could also do. I'm also thinking about Christy because you just mentioned it. You know, what is the nature of? 1 second.
I hear ya. Danica. Everyone wants Danica's
Hey,
attention right
Danica.
now. Hey,
Danica.
My mom wants to watch the last episode of Handmaid's Tale.
Oh.
Okay.
So I might have to jump out.
Okay.
I definitely think I have to jump out in the next couple minutes.
That's
but,
okay.
What were you saying?
I was thinking, what is the nature of, her rogue? Is she, linked with other rogues? What does that look like? I have a couple ideas with that, and I think that could be really fun to talk about with you.
Okay.
If you want to go into that later,
Yes.
I'll send you a message about it. And then there's one more thing I want to talk to you about Lorelei. Victoria, I can't remember what it was. It came to me, and then we were talking about something else, and then it went to the back of my head.
I mean, if you think of it, you can shoot it to me in a message. I just sent you a couple things that we need to discuss at some point.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. All those things. And the last set, for number 1, that's an absolute yes. I might be able to add a couple things to that creature stat.
Oh yeah, we can do this. You don't have to worry about it now. I figured I would send them to you so that you could think of them, and also so that I wrote them down so that I didn't forget.
Thank you. Yeah, please send me a message.
But if you gotta go, I mean, I gotta go to bed soon anyway. So like, it's all good.
Yeah. We've been here a while, so.
Yeah, we have.
I can't hear you, Danica. You sound kind of far away.
I'm having so much. How do I sound now?
You sound good.
You good?
Great.
I'm having so much fun tonight in the call. So thank you guys so much for
Thank you, Danica.
doing this, and I'm super excited about everybody's characters. Oh my god. I have something. I'm thinking of cool stuff already. I think you guys are gonna like. So, yay! And also, if you guys think of like tropes you guys love, feel free to message them to me if you have like any ideas there. That's always helpful. All right, love you all. Thank you.
Love you. Bye, Danica.
Have a good night. Mwah.
Mwah. Oh, where did Christy go? Oh, there she is. Are we still recording, or are we done?
But I was gonna say we can jump off the recording and just, if whoever wants to stay, we can do non-canon RP and just practice what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah, if we could jump off recording to do that, I would appreciate that, because
No, I already decided we're gonna jump off recording after that. So now that Dan's
oh man.
So
Christy's video froze, and I was about to screenshot the funny face it froze.
I will need to jump to my phone at some point for like 15 minutes.
No worries.
But other than that, I'm good.
Sure.
Well, thanks anyone who's watching this for tuning in. I hope you liked our little crazy session 0 with our 1 billion questions and 1 trillion ideas.
I totally forgot we were recording at some point.
That's the good thing.
Christy, what's your YouTube that people can look up?
Oh,
well, they're probably watching it on your YouTube right now. I just remembered that.
YouTube right now. Who knows what's going on?
Never mind.
It could be on you. Might be on my channel. Might be on the Proficiency Bonus channel. I might actually do some editing and cut this down shorter, so we're only getting like just bits and pieces, so it's not a full length thing. So we'll see how that happens in post. I don't know. You can find me on Mystic Kitty Fae, Mystic and KITTIEFAE. or just look up Christy Mystic Water on YouTube and you'll find me there. Or this is going to be on the official Proficiency Bonus channel. If so, hi! Click the subscribe button, hit the like button, and look forward to this brand new campaign in this brand new world. Well, not really brand new. Revisiting the world of Brave. So yes, we will see you guys soon.
Yeah.
We'll see when this comes
See ya next Wednesday, or maybe in a couple days, depending on when this video goes up. Who knows?
up. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.